Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:48, May 13th. I need a
Ms. Vaughn.
Ms. Vaughn.
Ms. Foster.
Present.
Mr. Conover.
Present.
Mr. Hikes.
Present.
Ms. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Marston.
Present.
Ms. Hubbard.
Present.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the approval, the board norms, I'm sorry. Who's reading them? Who's reading them? Emily.
These are the Board of Education norms. And in very small print, I'm sorry. Decision making. We believe our first priority and greatest concern is the educational welfare of all students in St. Louis Public Schools. We align decisions, discussions, superintendent evaluations, district partnerships, budget allocations, etc., to the current transformation plan. We demonstrate respect for diversity of thoughts, backgrounds and experiences, roles and decisions once they have been made. We embrace healthy debate. We acknowledge board members with differing opinions during discourse in both open and closed session to gain clarity and engage in meaningful dialogues. Professionalism. We demonstrate engagement by thoroughly reviewing the board packet and other documents, arriving on time to meetings and work sessions, remaining on topic during discussions, and respectfully interacting with each other, the superintendent, staff, and all stakeholders. We demonstrate respect for diversity of thoughts, backgrounds, and experiences, and roles. Communication. We demonstrate professionalism and respect for other board members, the superintendent, and district staff by adhering to timelines and deadlines outlined in the workflow calendar and any other tasks is assigned. We conduct all official board-related email communications using our slps.org email accounts. We read and reply to all board emails within 72 hours. We conduct all official board-related phone and text communications using district-issued phones. We check voicemail and return phone calls and texts within 72 hours. We are ambassadors in the community, and as individual concerns or questions arise, we will seek to understand the information and gather pertinent facts in order to direct stakeholders/staff to contact appropriate district personnel. We channel concerns or requests for information through the board president, who will direct those requests to the superintendent in an organized, concise manner. We recognize the importance of proactive communication and agree there will be no surprises. The board president will be the official spokesperson for the board. The superintendent shall be the spokesperson for the district. Board members who receive requests for board issue positions shall direct the request to the board president or superintendent. Confidentiality. We respect and maintain the confidentiality of closed session items and the board's discussion on those items. We refrain from discussing confidential business in public with members of the press or with anyone else not privy to such information. If it is necessary to provide a statement to the public following a closed session, the board president and superintendent will agree on a unified response prior to making the statement. The end.
I move to approve the agenda.
Pardon me. I want to show you something. Public comments. Yeah. Yeah. Before we do that, Mr. Marston, I'd like to make a motion to change the agenda, moving public comments right after the reports.
Second.
Ms. Vaughn? Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
I need a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I move to approve the agenda with the changes.
Second.
Dr. Collins Adams, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Pardon me?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I don't know if that needs to happen after the discussion of the
Yes.
current motion or not at this point, but
Who was the second?
Second. Any discussion?
yes, I would like to discuss item number 15.2, and I'd like to ask that we delay that item until our next meeting. It's not clear to me that in relation to item 15.2, that we have the necessary information in regards to the 5-5 committee meeting, whether A, that meeting was properly constituted, B, whether the recommendation to the board was properly made under revised statutes of the state of Missouri or our board policies, and just other concerns that occurred in that meeting that we all saw, unfortunately, on YouTube. So I'd like to, I guess, make an amendment to the agenda to delay item 15.2.
Ms. Vaughn?
Got a second?
Second.
Ms. Vaughn, the vote. Yeah.
Ms. Foster,
No.
Mr. Conover,
Surprised there was no discussion, but yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
No.
Ms. Hubbard,
No.
Dr. Collins Adams.
No.
Motion denied. That leaves us at our original motion to approve the agenda with the change of public comments going to item 12. Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
No.
Mr. Hikes,
Abstain.
Ms. Jones,
No.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We have the approval of the minutes from April 22nd work session. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the draft minutes from the previous meeting held on April 22nd.
We
Second.
need a second. Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We now have our announcements. Dr. Brewer-Shadé will read her portion.
I can read mine after yours.
Spirit of excellence.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. Good evening. As we prepare to close out another school year, we pause to shine a light on a truly remarkable group of students, scholar athletes. These young people have achieved excellence both in the classroom and in competition. To receive this honor, each student ranked in the top 25% of their class, lettered in at least one varsity sport, and upheld a strong positive presence within their school communities. They embody the discipline, leadership, and drive that define the spirit of St. Louis Public Schools. We are proud to recognize the following scholar athletes. Olivia, Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience, true sport athlete in volleyball and soccer, AP Scholar with distinction, and future environmental engineer at the University of Iowa. Mariah, Gateway STEM, volleyball standout, team MVP, and DECA vice president, headed to Missouri State to study engineering. Elijah, McKinley CLA, three-sport athlete and award-winning vocalist accepted into the Helen Hardin Honors College at the University of Memphis. Ben, Metro, National Merit Scholar and multi-sport athlete in track, soccer, hockey, is planning to study mechanical engineering. Angel, Clyde C. Miller Career Academy, state track qualifier, honor roll student, and future accounting major at SIU Carbondale. Samaya Roosevelt, cheer captain, track medalist, and aspiring dentist, enrolling at UMSL this fall. Janelle Sodane, three-sport athlete and district basketball champion, plans to play collegiate football. Dakota Sumner, multi-sport athlete, ROTC leader, and future cybersecurity student at UMSL, serving in the Army Reserve. Trey Fashawn, four-time state basketball champion, Missouri Class 4 Player of the Year, and future student athlete at Missouri State. Each of these students is a powerful reminder of what's possible when talent meets dedication. On behalf of the Board of Education of the City of St. Louis, we congratulate you and the entire class of 2025. Your moment has arrived. Graduation ceremonies are happening throughout the district beginning Thursday, May 15th, and each marks the culmination of years of hard work, perseverance, and growth. On behalf of the board, I want to say how proud we are of every graduating senior. Whether you're headed to college, the military, a career, or something uniquely your own, we celebrate you. Walk boldly into the future knowing your SLPS family is cheering you on every step of the way. Dr. Baruchade.
Thank you, President Collins Adams. Spirit of Excellence, celebrating our future health of leaders Saturday Scholars Program. We begin this evening's Spirit of Excellence by continuing our celebration to the Saturday Scholars Program. We have a few of our students here. A partnership between St. Louis Public Schools and Washington University School of Medicine that gives students hands-on experience exploring careers in healthcare. At our last board meeting, we heard from students representing Gateway STEM High School and Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience, who shared reflections of the program's impact and the powerful connections they made with medical students and professionals. Tonight, we're proud to honor the Saturday Scholars from Metro Academic and Classical High School and McKinley Classical Leadership Academy. We are going to hear from two students, Basura and Yira, who tackled critical health issues from maternal mortality to mental health equity and presented thoughtful, research-driven solutions. Please introduce yourself and let's hear your journey.
Hello, my name is Bristol Urade Ode from McKinley.
Hello, my name is Teresa Perez.
And for Saturday Scholars, you know, like the rundown already. And so personally, it really helps me with the public speaking aspect. And it's really just like very broad, not even medical. Like you learn a lot more than just like, you know, the bio and anatomy. And it really helps me with like being confident, going up to people, networking and whatnot, because I do want to do business and a little bit of medical and whatnot. And I'm just really glad that my admin really chose me to go and participate.
Your admin being Dr. Haymore?
Dr. Haymore, Lisa Stortzum, and Jason Kelthering.
Excellent. Okay.
I really liked all of the program, but specifically the cadaver lab where we got to actually apply like what we learned in anatomy classes taught by medical students. Like that was my favorite part because we actually had to interact with tools and we had to interact with the medical students as well. So we learned a lot of valuable lessons, and it was a really nice experience. And I'm also grateful for like my school administration, Lisa Stortzum, Dr. Kessler, Dr. Haymore, like amazing people, and I really liked the experience.
Thank you. Dr. Hamer, can you stand, please? And the rest of your team. Great job, great job. We're also honored to welcome back Dr. Andy Beckendorf.
So they say that lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place?
In the same place, right.
Audrey Jackson was to have come the last board meeting. She fell and hurt herself. She's stuck at Walmart now with a flat tire, so, okay. But lightning does strike twice because Andy Binkendorf,
Yes.
who has done this program, who is now Dr. Andy Binkendorf, from Metro.
So I was going to share, we're
But the
also
fact-
honored to have Dr. Andy Beckendorf, a graduate of Metro High School and former Saturday Scholar himself. Today, Dr. Beckendorf serves in the Department of Anesthesiology at the University of Washington and credits the very program with setting him on the path to a career in medicine. We thank you for returning and encourage you to help us encourage the next generation of healthcare leaders. Okay, we'd like to hear from you.
Let me just say one thing. Lightning does strike twice because his brother also went to Metro. His brother is also a doctor. So it does strike twice. And this is his teacher, Dr. Salimovich at Metro.
Thank you. Come on, let's hear from you.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having us all. I'm Andy. I am a product of St. Louis Public Schools, a graduate of the Saturday Scholars Program, first-generation college student and current physician at Barnes. And I just want to say that programs like Saturday Scholars truly are some of the most impactful. It allowed us to actually get hands-on experience with medicine as a field. It allowed us to actually explore science in a much more hands-on and meaningful, impactful way. And it allowed many of us, like my brother and I, and so many others, to actually be introduced to medicine and science in a way that we could pursue further on. It inspired so many students to actually enter this field, and more importantly, encourages us to stay and help the communities which made us who we are today. I want to stay in St. Louis. I know my brother wants to stay here. There are so many others that are wanting to stay in this community to serve and help this community. So actually encouraging programs like this are some of the most powerful tools that we have to actually influence our community. So thank you so much for allowing us a platform.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. I just wanted to address to you on behalf of 3 of our students who were part of the Saturday Scholars this year, who unfortunately all 3 are either at the track meets or receiving some kind of awards tonight and are not able to be here to participate. So that's why we invited Dr. Beckendorf to come and help us out, because he is, everything that Metro represents. So. Thank you.
Thank you for representing a portrait of a graduate. Once again, thank you for representing a portrait of a graduate. I will continue with our Parent University graduation. We proudly celebrated our inaugural class of Parent University graduates on May 8th, a significant milestone that underscores our commitment to empowering parents, families, and strengthening the home-school connection. Parent University was a monthly or met monthly in person with series designed to empower families with skills and confidence to support their children's education. These interactive sessions provided valuable strategies for enhancing student success, fostering positive school-home relationships, and promoting overall well-being. We celebrate our parents who completed this important program. This work reflects the heart of our district. When schools and families partner intentionally, our children thrive. I also want to thank Dr. Smith and Ms. L., as well as Mr. Malone, for their leadership and commitment in helping to create Parent University, for continually working to strengthen the program, and for providing a space where our families can come together and learn. I also want to shout out to our sneaker ball. Our sneaker ball and our 1,838 reading challenge. The sneaker ball was held on May 3rd. It was an energetic celebration honoring students who met or exceeded the ambitious goal of reading 1,838 minutes, representing the year that St. Louis Public School was established during the month of April. This event aligns with our Literacy for the Lou program that focuses on getting students engaged in reading by placing more books and reading materials in schools and homes, highlighting the importance of literacy in every walk of life and recognizing the hard work and dedication of our students. It also demonstrates that despite what some may believe, our students are capable of extraordinary achievements. In fact, more than 2,000 students have not only met but exceeded the expectation by increasing their reading capacity by 2.5 years from August through today. This success is a testament to the collaborative efforts of students, families, and staff, and proves that our students are ready for any challenge and beyond, even when there are those who doubt them. Educator of the Year, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to the outstanding 2025 Teachers of the Year, celebrating the exceptional educators who dedicated themselves to shaping the lives and the minds of our students. St. Louis Public School proudly celebrates our exceptional educators and leaders whose commitment, passion, and innovation shape the futures of our students every day. The annual SLP Educators of the Year Awards recognizes those who inspire excellence and leave a lasting impression in our classrooms, schools, and the broader district community. We know that teachers have always and will always be a cornerstone in every student's success. They possess a unique gift and an expansive knowledge, using both to encourage, strengthen, and help young people imagine that the impossible is possible. Graduation season and portrait of a graduate. As we enter graduation season, we celebrate the many young people who will soon embark upon new chapters, embodying the SLP Portrait of a Graduate. This culmination of their hard work is proof of concept when it comes to our mission, preparing students for the real world, while also encouraging them to pursue their dreams. To date, there are approximately 299 SLPS students who have earned approximately $46 million, and we're still counting. $46 million. And we know more will be sharing new information as they receive it. Last year, we were at 64 million, and we know that we're going to get there. Others dream while pursuing a job, a career, or in the arts, or whatever the fruitful minds of our young people can conceive. We know that it is possible. Congratulations to every member of our class of 2025. I want to share this week, St. Louis Public Schools. We attended the St. Louis Community College, and we were recognized for powerful collaboration that is transforming the lives of our students. An impressive 214 SLPS scholars participate in a dual credit and dual enrollment program this year, achieving remarkable results. By earning college credits while still in high school, these students collectively saved over $1 million. Saved over $1 million. More importantly, this invaluable experience significantly increases their likelihood of not just starting, but completing a college degree. We proudly celebrate these students and the profound impact of this partnership that we have with St. Louis Community College. And then honoring scholarship and character with the Isaac Bruce Foundation. We recognized 2 exceptional seniors who were recently selected as recipients of the Isaac Bruce Foundation Scholarship. Each student has been awarded a $5,000 scholarship in recognition of their academic achievement, character, and service, and that was not added to the $46 million. Angel at Roosevelt High School, and then Jayla at McKinley High School. These young students who represents everything we strive to cultivate in St. Louis Public Schools: excellence, leadership, and a commitment to giving back. So we thank the Isaac Bruce Foundation for its continued partnership and investment in our students' future. Here's a video.
Especially for a city that showed me so much love, I always want to return the favor. Well, we get many applications every year, and 500-word essay is a part of it. The grade point average is a part of it. And just, you know, the mixture of faith that we hear in their story, as far as them wanting to excel in life, the things that they want to be, to do, and to have. This person stood out tremendously to me, and I wanted to make sure I was here to be part of the presentation.
It is with great pride and honor that I get to name the winner of Isaac Bruce Scholarship, who was none other than our very own Angel Diaz.
She was in our building for a few years, but is now a virtual student and has continued to be tenacious with her journey with continuing high school, and as of now plans to go to SLU after graduation. Our student, Jayla Agnew.
Jayla, come on, Jayla. How about that? There we go.
All right, everybody look here, please. And 1, 2, 3.
Well, going forward, I just want to make sure that, as I have played it forward, that the recipient of the Isaac Bruce Foundation Scholarship plays it forward when they go into their career choice, whatever it may be, whatever industry that's in. Make sure they come back and help their community, just be a stalwart in their community, and do the same for others.
Some upcoming dates. May 22nd is the last day of school. May 26th is Memorial Day, and all district offices will be closed. June 2nd is the first day of camp, SLPS camp, and summer learning. June 5th, we have our Reimagining SLPS Phase 2 from 5 to 6 at the Gateway Complex. And June 7th, we will have another Reimagining SLPS Phase 2 from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Sumner High School. And that concludes my announcements.
Could you repeat the dates for the reimagining?
The dates for Reimagining, June 5th from 5 to 6 at the Gateway Complex, as well as June 7th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Sumner High School. These dates can also be found on our website. You're welcome.
I will now turn the meeting over to Dr. Borashade for her reports.
Thank you. We will begin with Ms. Johnson. This evening, Ms. Johnson will share the results of our audit from Reuben Brown, and at the conclusion of her report, having received notice in support of a contract extension from Mayor Kara Spencer for Reuben Brown, and having heard the plan from the Finance Department, I will be asking the board to approve the Reuben Brown to do the audit for SLPS for the 24-25 school year. Ms. Johnson, please share your report.
Good evening. President Collins Adams, Vice President Hubbard, other board members, community stakeholders, cabinet, and friends. I would like to report that St. Louis Public Schools for the year FY 23-24 has received a clean audit for our independent financial statements. The purpose of our financial statements is for an independent auditor to come into an organization and review our financial processes, our transactions, and to make sure that those processes and accounting transactions are compliant with laws, are accurate and reliable, and are in connection with accounting standards. Our auditor is Reuben Brown and his homegrown St. Louis, Missouri auditing firm. They have been performing our audits over the last 3 to 4 years, and they will continue to perform our audits. We have received 5 reports. The first report is called the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. That report shows all the different type of financial statements. It is really, really long, but a summary is that if you want to understand what we're doing in terms of our audit and our financial background, you should go to the single audit report, which tells you a little bit more about, giving you more of a summary, a narrative about our financial statements, our processes. And then we have what is called the Management Discussion and Analysis Report. That gives and shares with you the superintendent and the CFO, my background, and our procedures and our plans going forth. The last report is a summary report of prior year recommendations. In that report, it will list some of our items that we need to put in place, corrective actions. We do have some repeat findings from 2020, but those corrective actions that are in place and we will start to implement will help to ensure that next year's audit, we will not have those repeat findings. So what are our next steps? Our next steps is that we are already in the process of pre-planning. Starting in June 2025, we will be working with the auditors, receiving their list of documentation that they need. They will be on site doing their performance testing in July, and then the draft documents will be submitted for review in November, and our final submission of our audit financial statements will be done in December 2025. Again, we received a clean audit, which is a huge achievement. This is, again, the 3rd year in a row under Reuben Brown auditors, and I'm so proud that SLPS has received a clean audit. Any questions?
Could you say that one more time for the news, please?
I'm gonna look right in the camera. St. Louis Public School has received a clean audit for our financial statements, FY '23 and '24.
Thank you. Mr. Morrison.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having the next audit done by December 31st. A question I had was, if I read the audit correctly, it said that the net change in general operating fund, balance for 2024 was a positive $22.6 million. Is that correct?
I will have to review it to make sure those numbers are correct, meaning that I don't want to give you a number that I have not looked at and reviewed.
Okay, and the reason I ask is because it was a positive number rather than a deficit.
Yeah. I will get that back to you.
That is what it said, yes.
Mr. Conover.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Just had a quick question. I thought I heard you, and I could have misheard you, mentioned 4 documents. So we have the annual comprehensive financial report in front of us, the single audit financial report, single audit report, and then a PowerPoint of management recommendations, it looks like. Was there another document that we should have that I may have missed?
Yes, you will be receiving, it's called the auditor's representation letter. It's just a letter that states from the auditor that they have completed the audit and they found that it's a clean audit. So that letter should be forthcoming.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Foster.
Yes. Also want to give some claps for a clean audit, and I appreciate you sitting up here and telling, the public that. You mentioned that there were probably around 4 to 5 corrective actions that were mentioned inside of the audit. For public record, can you just name a few of those or just give us a rundown on what some of those corrective actions were for moving forward?
Yes, a few had to do with our ERP system, which is our financial system. As you guys are aware, we have capabilities where we are making sure that we're using those capabilities to the fullest extent. We are going to be implementing a new financial system in about 24 months, which is Focus. So one of those recommendations or corrective actions had to do not only with enhancement of our current financial systems, but also making sure we have the proper staff on board. i.e. myself as CFO and our controller, Kelly. One of the other corrective actions dealt with real property and inventory of real property. I am so proud to present that that has been completed. We did an audit of all of our real property, including 68 sites, over thousands, hundred thousands of actual counting real property, and that has been completed. So that was one of the recommendations. And then the other ones is just dealing with making sure that our reconciliation process is done on a monthly basis and just tying up and putting stronger processes in place.
Ms. Jones?
So I was constantly hearing, I listen to the news all the time, and I was hearing $35 million in the hole. So that was incorrect?
No, in actuality, our fund balance spending, we had more expenditures than we had actual revenue. So we used some of our fund balance to the tune of $35 million to support our operations.
That is why we did that exercise earlier today.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you're going to check on the $22 million plus?
Yes. I just don't want to say a number off the top of my head. I will check that with you.
And send it out.
Okay, yes.
All right, thank you.
And let me just say that our plans going forth, by 2027, we're expecting to have a balanced budget, which means our revenue will be equal to our expenditures, which means we will have less fund balance spending. And that's 2027.
That is why we did the exercise earlier.
And I'll share the exercise with you. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Having heard the report from Ms. Johnson, will the board approve Reuben Brown LLC to do the audit for the SLP for the 24-25 school year?
We need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Second.
Ms. Vaughn?
Is there any discussion?
Discussion?
Oh,
Done. It's all.
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next report.
Tonight you will hear from Ms. Mitchell, our Chief of Technology. She will be bringing the report on behalf of Student Support Services. You will hear the number of intent to return that has surpassed 13,000 students who have now shared that they are interested in returning to St. Louis Public Schools. You'll also hear how the Student Recruitment Office and our Family Support Specialists are continuing to reach out to families to make sure that all who are interested in returning to St. Louis Public Schools have the opportunity to do so. Over 70% of our intent to return have been completed. Ms. Mitchell?
Good evening. Good evening, President Collins Adams, Vice President Hubbard, members of the board, Superintendent Borchade, and members of the public. I am honored to step in for Dr. Letitia Smith tonight and present on our registration updates, intent to return, and new family enrollments, in addition to supports that we've been provided as a district. Of course, when we think about registration, essentially it's about students and making sure students are registered. We know where we're going next year. Families are well equipped to make the decisions they need to make to prepare for next school year. And so that creates really a through line for our student success goals, as well as our strategic values. I do want to call out on this particular presentation, lifting up authentic family partnership. This is really about partnering with our families, creating transparency in the way that we communicate, and working together to be fiscally responsible. Additionally, I want to lift up personalized supports and innovative pathways. Understanding the number of students that we have in a real accurate way helps us to plan in a really meaningful way for next school year, so we can anticipate class sizes and where our students are going in transportation and all of those things. And then, of course, all of that speaks to our portrait of a graduate, making sure that we have the resources necessary for all of our students to embody the portrait of a graduate. This is just a very, very quick agenda, so we'll talk about the intent to returns, some new applications, and then what type of support we are providing. So this year, it was a bit different than we'd seen in the past. The district launched the intent to return very early. And so it was right after Martin Luther King Day. So on January 21st, we launched the intent to return using our current Tyler SIS system. And so really the purpose, not only to understand how many students are going to return so we could plan, but really to identify which of our families needed transportation. And so part of the intent to return included identifying whether families needed transportation and getting those families geared up to have what we called priority transportation to get those routes early on. So there was a registration goal of 100%, of course, and so we're really happy to report on the numbers. And then, yes, so we talked about all the families. The purpose of this, in addition to getting the numbers, was to make sure that any family that needs transportation could get transportation, and they would know their transportation options early on. So for intent to returns, when this presentation was submitted, we were at 11,843. We did a huge push, a second round push as we called it, and so right now we have 13,383, and so that's 72% of the population of St. Louis Public Schools. And we're cheering for that number because we got a lot of pushback. They're like, oh, people aren't going to complete it. They're not going to do it. We're like, yes, they will. We just have to show them how and support them, and they did. And so our families really showed up. And so we have a huge majority of families that have let us know what they need, and that helps us to make great decisions and become well-informed. So the other number you see here is the new application portal. I want to define what that is. So as you know, the intent to return was for our existing families in an existing platform, but we wanted to make sure that we captured everyone in the city, including our new families, and so a new application form was launched using a Microsoft form. We actually had a lot of engagement, as you can see, the 2,313, just to kind of break down that number. Our families were so excited that we actually had some duplicates in existing families. So we pulled out the duplicates in existing families. What we had was 520 completely brand new applications, as well as 864 new magnet applications, giving us a total of 1,384 new families seeking to register. The next slide talks about focus. So as you know, we're in a transition year, so not only we're getting new transportation, we're getting a new SIS system. And so the families that completed that new application, we said, hey, we need you to enroll in Focus. That's our SIS system. We wanted them to enroll early. And so this really represents the work of the recruitment and placement team. So they engaged with every single family that completed that original form. They called families, asked them, did you complete your Focus registration? Essentially, they were finalizing their enrollment, and so this is what that represents. So all 199 parents that actually started an application, so we have the data to say, you started it, but we saw that you didn't finish. How can we best support you? Maybe they needed some support with some of their documentation, shot records, things like that that you would generally collect in a registration process. And so they also essentially reached out also to the additional 514 parents that had not started the application in Focus, just to make sure we're coming full circle and engaging with every single family that has reached out to us in some way or another on this process. And I guess that was the last slide. Okay, that was any questions?
Mr. Marston.
Yeah.
Mr. Marston.
Yeah, you mentioned the student information system and migrating from Tyler to Focus. I just wanted to check to see if we're still on schedule. Last I heard, all the data was supposed to be migrated by May 23rd, and then I think the go-live date for Focus is May 27th. Is that still correct?
We are fully on track, yes. So May 23rd is a record-keeping day. It is also the last day for Tyler. So we had a good run. Tyler is 20 years old, and so that is the absolute last day for data entry in that system. All of our staff know we have supported secretaries, we've supported teachers, principals, to make sure they know that's the last day for data entry. The following week, we have our migration day. The SIS people accounting team are calling it their they told me don't say quarantine. They told me they're essentially they need to be, you know, in their own little corner to work through it. We actually have the Focus, our Focus representative coming that week to assist with the data migration, and that way we are ready to go fully live, actually June 2nd. So data migration on the 27th, fully live for summer school. It's a little early, but we felt like it was really important to launch in summer school because that's a great opportunity to get to know the system, to work out any kinks in the system prior to the school year.
Yeah, it's great to hear that we're on track, because sort of maybe next to transportation, if there are kinks with the student information system, parents are going to notice the problems right away. So.
Oh, absolutely, and our goal is to make it as seamless as possible for our families. We know it's a lot of new platforms, and so our plan is to make sure we support them as best as we can.
Mr. Heights?
Taking into consideration, I know how hard it is to get kids registered. What processes, which you don't have to get into in depth if you don't want to, I mean, if you don't have to, but what kind of help are we giving to the unhoused children? Because you know we have a lot of kids in our school district that are unhoused. So if there are any processes where we are helping them to still be able to get registered?
Absolutely, and so I don't want to speak too much to the unhoused because that's not my department, but we have offices down here. We've also worked with every school to support any of our students in transition to getting enrolled. The other really nice thing in the Focus system is it gives a flag. So as soon as you log in, it will give you a flag and say 12 students had indicators that would say that they might be in transition, and so that flags our students in transition team to reach out directly to those families to make sure that we can support them. So the application allows for these different pathways and different triggers so that we know, for example, if you're an ESOL family, if you have a 504, if you were a student in transition, and that way we can assure that whomever is the district representative can also reach out to that family.
And then I also want to say last year you approved us to assist with the T-Mobile phones. And so with that, we are also able to communicate with our families in transition as well.
So will the Tyler system run concurrent with the new system for a short period of time so you don't lose any data?
Oh, absolutely. The Tyler system isn't going anywhere. We own it. We own the server that all of the data is on, and so that will be securely housed. And so we will actually always have that archived data.
All right, thank you. Ms. Foster?
Appreciate it. Two questions. One is a follow-up from what you just said about data and how long we're archiving it. Since we own, do you have those numbers, or how long the district is saving and archiving?
We would save it forever.
Okay.
Just in case anybody ever needed a transcript, anything like that. So we, I believe the law is 7 years, but
Yeah.
for that, yeah, we would just keep it indefinitely.
Okay. I would say for the record, that's a little concerning that we're going to keep the data forever. But I might just need to learn a little bit more.
And I can get back to you on that with a definitive number.
Yeah. And then the second question, along the same lines as Board Member Hikes posed about unhoused families, can you talk a little bit more about what those language supports look like for our ESOL students? And if you don't have that information and it's more for Dr. Smith, that's fine too.
I'm looking at ours. Yeah, so there's been, actually I have notes here. So there's ESOL language support provided, was essentially making sure that families had information in their home language. So there was a layer of support with all of those families. Again, that's another, we have the entire ESOL office supporting with any family that says English might not be their first language to make sure that they have the support that they need. Focus also has language support similar to any website that if you need to change the language and things like that. So yeah, that's also creates a flag to support families with registration. In addition to that, any communication that we're sending out, we're making sure to get it translated. So when we send out another update to say, hey, did you do your intent to return? Did you get your registration completed? We're also making sure that those letters are translated as well.
Okay, awesome. And those are sent like via email to families?
Correct.
Or
Email is generally how they're
person?
mostly sent via email, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Conover?
I just want to say, great job on this. We've been over this for the past few months, and it just seems like we're making such a big improvement on the system in a way that I think all the families are really hopefully going to benefit from, and that's what we're here to do. So thank you so much for this work.
Thank you. It has truly been a team, and I do mean
Yes.
a team effort on this one, so thank you.
Yes, Dr. Smith as well and everybody.
I want to thank you also because that's a large percentage to have pre-registered and ready to go.
Yeah.
And you just, right from this point on, you just have to follow through with the parents that haven't responded. So that's really good.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen often.
Right. No, thank you.
So I just want to thank the team for starting January 21st or 22nd. And here we are today, 72% registered. Great job, team. Great job. And now, Dr. Dino will share information about our World Language Program and the 6 different languages offered here in St. Louis Public Schools, our pathway to the Missouri Seal of Biliteracy, which is an awesome certificate of achievement for students, and provide information on how we intend to grow the program. Just imagine St. Louis Public Schools being a district with a language pathway from pre-K to 12, meaning families can select in pre-K that they want their child to learn a specific language. And when their child enters pre-K, know that there's an actual pathway from pre-K to 12th grade. Imagine our students as global learners and truly becoming culturally aware. Dr. Dino, you will also hear about our district's continuous improvement plan and how information gathered from our community cafes will be used to help develop our next plan.
Good evening, President Collins Adams, Vice President Hubbard, members of the board, Dr. Bordey-Chalet, and community members. Our academics update tonight will showcase the strategic values of highly effective educators and leaders, joyful and engaged students, and authentic family and community partnerships. These student success goals always provide the focus for each of our academics team's action steps. Right now, I would like to introduce you to Clyde C. Miller Sr. Tristan as an exemplar of the SLPS Portrait of a Graduate, and he will share his amazing journey with you.
Welcome, Tristan, welcome.
Hello. Good evening, members of the St. Louis Public School Board, family, friends, and community supporters. Thank you for giving me the honor of speaking with you guys tonight. My name is Tristan Davis, and I am a proud senior in the nursing CTE pathway at Clyde C. Miller Academy. This year, I had the incredible opportunity to intern at Bowen-Stewart Hospital, an experience that truly changed my life. To walk away with not just 1, but 3 job offers, that's something I never imagined. And I know without a doubt that SLPS, especially Clyde C. Miller, helped me make that possible. The Portrait of a Graduate isn't just a list of goals to me, it's something I lived. The classes, labs, and the real-world training prepare me for success. I walked into the hospital feeling ready, nervous, but prepared, and I was able to keep up and contribute from day one. During my internship, I didn't sit back. I asked questions, I volunteered to help, and I made it my mission to be useful, bringing positive energy to the team. What we practice in the school, patient scenarios, thinking on our feet, helped me problem solve real situations. I was able to stay calm and focused because I had the foundation that I needed. At the hospital, I spoke with patients, families, and nurses and doctors every day. I leaned on the communication skills that I learned at Clyde C. Miller to build trust and make people feel heard and cared for. The technical skills we learned, taking vitals, preparing equipment, understanding procedures, they were all things I used on the job. And because of my training, I felt confident with doing it. In healthcare, understanding people's backgrounds and experience matters. At school, we talked a lot about empathy and respect, and that helped me connect with patients from many different walks of life. Teamwork is everything in the healthcare, and it was everything in our classroom too. Working side by side with nurses reminded me of the way we worked as a team in labs and projects at school. In closing, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to the teachers, mentors, and staff who believed in me. Thank you to my family and everyone in the SLPS community who supported me. You didn't just give me an education, you gave me a future. Thank you so much.
Can Tristan's support team stand? Tristan's support team stand, as well as Principal Kepler. Great job, magnificent. Thank you, Tristan. And you have 3 job offers. Wow, not so many people can say that. Congratulations, that is awesome, awesome. Portrait of a graduate.
Excuse me, Ms. Dino.
Yeah.
I hate to do this, but a minute ago, we had a doctor come up here. Now we got a nurse. People need to see what's happening in St. Louis public schools.
Yep.
And I'm going to pat ourselves on the back if nobody else will. That's very impressive. I'm a product of St. Louis Public School, so I can see what we can do. And I'm proud of our teachers, our principals, our support staff, such as yourself. I really appreciate it, because our kids need this. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of you all for going out of your way to help our kids. And I want to thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well, Tristan is definitely a tough act for us to follow tonight. We are really excited to share information about our World Language Program offerings, our district school continuous improvement planning, and even a preview of some key dates for next year's calendar of activities. It always takes a team. More than 2,700 students in SLPS are studying a world language right now. More than 2,700 from pre-K through 12th grade. To talk more about our offerings and what student successes look like, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Eads, French teacher at McKinley Middle School, and Ms. Harrier, an ESOL coordinator of special areas, to share about the current offerings. Mr. Eads?
Welcome, Mr. Eads.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, Board of Education, school community, or district community, sorry, not at McKinley right now. Is it ready? Oh, there you are, okay. All right, so our current offerings in the district are Arabic, Japanese, Latin, Chinese, French, and Spanish. We offer all of our languages at different grade levels, so depending on the language. So Spanish is offered pre-K through 12th. French is offered 6 through 12, Arabic 9 through 12, Japanese pre-K through 5, Latin 9 through 12, and Chinese pre-K through 5th and 9 through 12. We currently, by language, Arabic has 45 students, all 9 through 12. Chinese has 308 students, pre-K through 5, 287. Those are all at Dewey. 9 through 12, 21 students. French has 407 students total, 6 through 8, 179, those are all my kids. 9 through 12, 228 students. Japanese has 191 students, all at Mallinckrodt. Latin has 88 students at Collegiate, all 9 through 12. Spanish, there are 1,823 students studying Spanish. Pre-K through 5, we have 479. 6 through 8th, 376, and 9 through 12, 968. Our total district world language enrollment by grade level, so pre-K through 5 students, 957, 6 through 8, 489, and grades 9 through 12, 1,350. So as Dr. Dino said, for a total of 2,740 students. All right. Ready? All right. Thank you.
And before we bring Ms. Harrier up, I just want to thank Mr. Eads for reaching out and saying we know we do great things with world language, and he was like, how can we make it more visible? So I want to thank him for that.
Thank you. Good evening. The Pathways to Biliteracy program was developed 7 years ago to encourage students to learn world languages and for English language learners to maintain their native languages. The award is available to native speakers of English learning the world language and English language learners who are maintaining their home languages while acquiring English as a second language. This recognition is awarded in 3 milestone grades: pre-kindergarten 4 with the Emerging Bilingual Award, and in 5th and 8th grades with the Developing Bilingual Award. World language teachers, counselors, and ESL teachers collaborate with the ESL office to identify eligible students and support them through the process. This year, we are proud to share that 16 schools participated and 629 students are receiving 691 awards. Several students earned the award in multiple languages. The Missouri Seal of Biliteracy is a culminating award. It recognizes graduating seniors who demonstrate proficiency in English and a world language. The Missouri Seal of Biliteracy Award is available to native speakers of English who are studying a world language and English language learners who maintain their native languages. Students must demonstrate proficiency in English through either English 2 EOC or ACT or the VITA Access test. Then the students either take an available test of a world language or prepare a portfolio in a world language to demonstrate proficiency. Students also have to meet the requirements of the socio-cultural component, which consists of an academic essay and or volunteering at community events connected to languages. The next 2 slides show our historical data for the Seal of Biliteracy Award recipients. You will notice the number of Seal of Biliteracy as well as the Distinguished Seal of Biliteracy recipients we awarded each year. You will also notice the languages for each award included on the slides. You can also learn a little bit about the recipients each year, whether they are native English speakers, heritage language speakers, or current or former English language learners. We are proud to share that this year, 20 students earned the Seal of Biliteracy, and 1 student earned the Distinguished Seal of Biliteracy Award. And this award is transferred on the student official transcript. Thank you.
I just want to note from between 23-24 and 24-25, that's more than double the number of Seals of Biliteracy that we offered last year. Due to the great work and efforts of our students, teachers, and whole community. So you might wonder, what's next for us? We will be convening a World Language Review Committee because it's really important that we know what's happening all across the district and that we can leverage those best practices everywhere. While we have 2,740 students learning a world language right now, we definitely want to see that number increase. We will convene the review committee to identify our best practices and how we can scale those across the system. We heard Dr. Borchade already mention developing a PK through 12 biliteracy pathway. We know that connects to Portrait of a Graduate, yes, in areas of being culturally aware, but college and career readiness. Multilingual employees are highly sought after in any industry. It supports college and career readiness, critical thinking. We know the bilingual brains operate on a whole different plane from monolingual brains. We want that for all of our students. those are just a few of the areas in which it supports the Portrait of a Graduate work. We want to scale up the seals of biliteracy so that more students get them. Those are not only recognized in the state of Missouri, but across the country, in more than 40 states have seals of biliteracy that they offer for students. And again, our goal is to increase the number of students receiving those seals, because that tells us we are developing strong biliteracy pathways. Imagine a day when we have time, when we have programs for heritage students, dual language program offerings, all sorts of offerings that we can work with students from PK through 12th grade to support all aspects of their identity and growth. So please join me in thanking Mr. Eads and Ms. Harrier. Are there any questions before we move on to the next section?
Yeah, I just wanted to take the opportunity while we're on the academic update to acknowledge that Teacher Appreciation Week was last week. So on behalf of the governance team of the board and the superintendent, I just want to say a belated thank you to all of our great teachers who are changing lives every day. And as Dr. Borshade mentioned earlier, the Educator of the Year Awards were last week and featured just so many inspiring stories. Our communications team did a great job putting together a video for each of those educators. So when you get a chance to watch those, your eyes might get a little watery, but I encourage you to watch those when you get a chance.
Ms. Jones. Oh, okay. Yes, I wanted to understand how many of our elementary schools currently have a foreign language, because I couldn't see right there. I remember back in the day that Dewey was my go-to because most of my children graduated from there. And they had Russian, Chinese, Arabic, French, and Spanish in elementary school. It made a big difference in their life. And I'm hoping we've expanded.
So currently, we have elementary offerings at Malincrot and Dewey and Betty Wheeler.
Okay,
Yeah. So we're looking to expand even further, to your point, yeah.
And I noticed that on the agenda, we were asking to approve a 24-hour interpreter that you can call, and parents can call.
Yep.
Right, and so I'm still interested in finding out, I know that a lot of our students, when they graduate from high school, that they need a foreign language. So what have we done so far to help encourage that for those who, a lot of them didn't seem to understand that they needed a foreign language to enter college?
So part of the work, as our counselors work with our students to develop their four-year course plans from 9th grade through 12th grade, is talking about the fact that 2 years of college is generally required at most four-year institutions, nearly all. While it's not a high school graduation requirement for us, it is a part of getting into college. And so part of it is us, as we work through this review committee, also like, what else can we do to support students, to encourage them to have interest and access in language? Because it's available in all of our high schools, but sometimes people aren't necessarily seeing the connection.
Is it possible that we can provide an online course for our students that SLPS sponsors, so that if the student is at home on a Saturday and they have a Saturday language Zoom class, foreign language?
That's a great idea for our team to consider. Thank you.
I would like to say that we do have, we have had it online. We just have to make sure that we have a teacher of record as well when we offer that online.
Thank you. Ms. Hubbard?
I have a lot of questions, but I'll try not to ask them all. And I know you haven't been here probably when my questions are relevant, but hopefully we can do our best. How do we justify having pre-K to 5 languages at the 2 gifted schools and then Dewey, the magnet school? Again, this was probably before your time, but to see that inequity just right here on the chart is, it's troubling, and I know you're trying to expand, and I hope we expand to elementary schools really quickly.
So, Vice President Vice President Hubbard, that is a very good question that, like you said, predates us, and that's why we are highlighting this, elevating this, and bringing it to the board and the community's attention so that we can all imagine together and make this right.
That sounds great. And also, Dewey has a lot of languages. It's a language magnet school. Solden has a lot of languages. It's a language magnet school. Where's the middle school? And why doesn't it have languages?
Great question. Great question. Those are our questions as well. Why isn't it? And that is why we are highlighting this, bringing this to everyone's attention so that when we imagine, we can see that there is a gap, a true gap.
Now, also, this is a personal statement, but I was really disappointed that our classical middle school and high school didn't have Latin and Greek. It's not fair that only collegiate has it. But that's not really a priority.
We have to make sure that we can find the teacher to teach that. So we're all working on this together.
Ms. Foster and Mr. Conover.
Yeah, I think you were first, right?
No, please.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I got thrown off. Can you just go over a little bit, like, just for record, what the role of this new committee will be, and how can members of the community kind of engage or participate? Is it something only for district staff? Can you talk a little bit more about that before I ask my second question?
Sure. So we would love to have a committee that is made up of students, staff, and community members, because that is how then we're going to be able to develop the best biliteracy pathway that we can use moving forward. As part of our guidelines, the Center for Applied Linguistics has some dual language programmatic guidelines and standards. Not to say that we would necessarily build a dual language program, but those standards talk about what are key components of well-developed language programs for students, and part of that is having community engagement, and so we would use those standards like as an initial focus for our work.
Awesome. And then can you talk a little bit just about, like, generally what the role, like, just plainly?
So that team will make
the goal.
recommendations to the superintendent about what expanding pathways for biliteracy will look like in SLPS.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, my last question, I think. And it might be a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways, because I want it on record. Since English is considered a world language, and English is a dominant and predominant language in a lot of countries outside of the US, is there any thought or conversation or even mindsets that current members might have of this community, or committee, I mean, that we are teaching our immigrant students and populations English at the same time? Or am I just like throwing spaghetti at the wall?
So this language committee would be to support both students who speak languages other than English at home to become multilingual, because some of our students are maybe like kindergarten age and they haven't had a chance to have schooling in their heritage language either. Like, this is a way to support them to become biliterate in their heritage language and in English. There's also opportunities for our monolingual English speakers to learn and expand second languages. This is not about limiting the who we want to provide supports for. Right. It's just what might look for a heritage language speaker of a certain language may be different for a monolingual English speaker of a language. And sometimes families who are speakers of languages other than English say, I want to learn English and I want my student to learn this third language as well. So we want to have pathways and opportunities for all students and families.
Okay, and you're saying right now we currently do like have supports and pathways for that option, for that family that you just gave an example of?
So right now we don't have enough options and pathways across the system.
Right.
It's more of a patchwork. And so we're working to develop a system so that everyone will have some level of access.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dino.
Mr. Conover.
Oh, yeah, just real quick. Thank you so much for this presentation. It sounds like we've made a lot of progress here in the last year in a very short amount of time. We've increased the number of Seal of Biliteracy awards, if I have that right, 222%. That's amazing. It sounds like you all, to me at least, are very focused on where the gaps are and are trying to start building up supports in that. That's a long, hard process. We know that. But I'm excited to see the focus on it. I'm really excited for this committee, and I hope the work can continue heading in the right direction, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Dina. Children that learn their native language in their household don't speak English in their household. They just speak their native language until they get to maybe kindergarten or first grade. And then we are teaching them English. And so what you're saying is that as a part of the program, we would be teaching them English, and to be able to communicate in their language, we also have written language in their own native language.
We ultimately could get there for a pathway, yes. We also know that when students are literate in their first language first, and then learn literacy skills in English, it makes that transition a bit easier for them. So there's just all sorts of positive outcomes for working on biliteracy from a very young age.
And in my experience, yes, they do. The other question is, and as we move further along this process, are we, and we may already have that, but if we do, accelerating that opportunity to have an international baccalaureate program?
So we currently have an international baccalaureate program offering at Metro, but to your point, we would be able maybe to expand it to others, because learning another language is a key feature of any student being able to earn the international baccalaureate diploma.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're all visioning together. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. And now for our continuous
Yes.
school improvement plan.
All right, next I will share an update with you on our district school improvement planning process. The current SLPS Continuous School Improvement Plan is called Transformation Plan 4.0. It's comprised of 5 pillars with 20 goals. This current plan also will be sunsetting at the end of this school year, and so it's important for us to develop our next level of school improvement plan. Some of the feedback that we have received on DESE is 20 goals is too many goals for a system to focus on. And so you'll see on here we have our portrait of a graduate competencies. Our next school improvement plan will have a goal in each of those competency areas, limiting not our efforts, but strategically narrowing our focus so we make sure we're working on things that go towards our goals of ensuring that every student is a portrait of a graduate. We want to ensure that we provide a quality education for all students to realize their full potential. Beginning in February of this year, SLPS hosted community cafes across the district to hear from stakeholders about what is important to them as it relates to our portrait of a graduate. Over the course of these 3 sessions, we gathered 110 distinct responses. And I say that because many of the responses were done in pairs or groups, and the response of the survey might have been typed in by one person. And from those surveys, 47 of them were parents and community members, and 63 responses were from folks identified as school and district staff. Tonight, I'm going to share the themes that emerged from those surveys and talk with you about next steps. We first analyzed all of the narrative responses that we received through the lens of our current district goals. Climate and culture was mentioned the most often, which highlighted strong community interest in emotional health, empathy, communication, and supportive environments. Next, most frequently mentioned was college and career readiness. That showed definitely a clear desire for students to be prepared for life after high school. And reading growth and proficiency and math growth and proficiency, our other 2 current student success goals, were mentioned less frequently, but were also recognized by families as important parts of student success. Then we took that same information and analyzed it through the lens of our current portrait of a graduate descriptors and competencies. So in the competency of college and career ready, what came out were the themes of a strong academic focus, foundation, and rigorous preparation. Math and reading falls right in there, very easily aligned. Career exploration, there were comments around wanting career exploration even earlier, like as young as kindergarten for students. And future planning, developing life skills, personal attributes, and self-management. When we look next at collaborator, teamwork was mentioned in nearly every comment around collaboration. Communication and then practice for collaboration were also mentioned. In the area of culturally aware, the themes were around understanding and respecting diverse cultures, fostering positive interactions across difference, and a need for exposure and learning opportunities. You heard us tonight talk about our world language program. That came up several times as well. How can we help our students become culturally aware by working with people from other areas? Next, our portrait of a graduate competency of competent, academic proficiency and application of knowledge and skills. Our community is interested in more than just knowing how to read, but how to apply the skill of reading and how to apply all of the skills that we're learning in school, because that cultivates confidence and resilience. There's key interest in having student ownership and responsibility as it related to competence as well. When it comes to communicator, a clear and effective expression in writing and in speaking for students. Active and intentional listening came up several times as well as being able to adapt your communication for a variety of audiences. All skills that we all use every single day. And our last two parts of a graduate descriptors are critical thinker and change agent. In the area of critical thinking, problem solving and developing creative solutions was a theme. Analyzing information, evaluating evidence, and fostering curiosity came up regularly with responses around critical thinking. And as far as change agent, advocacy, using one's voice and taking action to make a positive impact, civic awareness, and community engagement. So you might be wondering, what are we going to do next? So taking each of those, all of the feedback that we received, and creating our district level continuous school improvement plan with new goals, again, tied directly to our portrait of a graduate competencies will be the first step. We'll be coming back in June with our next iteration of the plan that we hope you will approve. And then from there, our school level continuous improvement plans will align with the district plan. Our current school-based accountability plans are also really long, and when we received feedback from DESE about them, especially for our schools that are on comprehensive status, they have also encouraged us to really streamline so we can narrow the focus on those things that are most important. This is a great opportunity for us to align our school-based continuous improvement plans with our district level improvement plan. Are there any questions about this?
Well, I guess I'll go.
I'm sorry. Go.
It's okay. Can you tell me more about who came to these meetings, what the demographics were, if they matched the demographics of St. Louis? So what is the 47 and the 63? That was the number of surveys submitted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and within those surveys, those folks identified what role they played within the community.
Okay, so every person was counted.
Yeah, and we also have sign-in sheets from all the people who attended.
Okay. And did you collect demographic data, or, kind of look and see if it matched?
So the demographic would be representative of the community that we serve. We wouldn't ask anybody for their demographics on the sign-in sheet.
No, but maybe on the survey.
We wouldn't ask anybody for their demographics on a survey or a sign-in sheet, unless it is the recommendation of the board for us to ask for demographic information on a survey or a sign-in sheet.
I mean, when you're doing surveys, it can be inappropriate information to collect.
No problem. Is that the recommendation or the will of the board?
I don't think so.
Okay. No.
It's definitely a personal opinion.
Okay.
So we had 110 responses over
yeah.
all the climate
Over
and
those
culture
three,
things.
yep.
Okay. That is a really small sample size. But I also understand it's hard to get people to come out. Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Foster?
We were whispering down her, but I was, yeah, just publicly, I think that there is value in collecting demographic data when it comes to surveys, especially as it relates to an entire new CSIP for a district and CSIPs for individual schools. I think we can anecdotally say we know what the demographics are for St. Louis City, but until you see it and it's proven, you don't know anything and you don't know where this sample came from. And so I do support that recommendation specifically for surveys. It's a board decision, and I respect whatever decision we make as a board. But I do think in the future, it's important to be collecting this kind of data.
And so, if that is the will of the board, that is where we would go. My question would be, what are we going to do with demographic data? And if it is a recommendation that DESE would support?
One thing we could do with demographic data of all sorts would be to compare our sample to the rest of the city or our district members and see if it's actually representative of the whole thing. That's really important when we are making really big decisions and plans for, how long is this plan supposed to last?
3 years.
For 3 years. To make sure that the data we're collecting and letting guide us actually represents our stakeholders and, you know, every family in the district. And to me, that's I think we have a researcher on staff or a data person. But that is what you would use that kind of data for, to make sure that our, you know, the export of the survey will work, will do what we think it's going to do.
Thank you for providing that explanation. I will wait to hear the will of the board.
I do have a question, please.
Ms.
Don't we
Jones?
currently have that information anyway in our data that we collect from each student, each family? Can't we do an analysis from that? I don't understand why it's necessary to be even more intrusive. We already have the data. Why don't we use it? I'm not understanding that.
I think if the survey would be going out when?
This survey was used during the community cafes to gather feedback from the discussions people were having. This particular survey is complete.
Then at this point, it would not serve us any real purpose to be able to do demographic data because we've already started. And we do have that data, as Ms. Jones said, in the system, so we need to be able to make some type of comparison based on what we have and what you're presented in your surveys. And that takes a deep dive, so we can probably discuss that later.
Thank you.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah, I guess, and I'm also pretty happy to move on, but I am just sort of confused what exactly the recommendation is here. So we do a lot of surveys across the district. There's obviously the CSIP one. But is this for all surveys? Do we want to, like Board Member Foster said, collect demographic data at community events? When like people walk in, are we going to ask them a bunch of stats about their demographics? I understand the research idea here from SLU or wherever it's coming from, but I'm just confused as to what the scope of this recommendation is.
Yeah, I don't think it was a recommendation. I think it was a general note that we should be using data to inform multi-year plans, especially because this plan, I'm sorry, I'm trying to listen to at the same time. Okay, great. Yeah, I don't think it was a recommendation, and I think Superintendent Borshade also had the question of, would this even be allowable from DESE? I think is the most important question, like, will we be in compliance with the law in the state of Missouri? But if we are, again, I think it's just a strong request from individual board members that we need to be using data to make our decisions and plans. I won't speak for anybody else.
I would say use data and use it well.
Ms. Jones.
This is the last thing. I mean, this reminds me of our last board meeting when we had the gentleman to come up there and he wanted data about our students and the demographics from 63106, I think it was. but it was not going to be beneficial to our students. And I'm just leery of always collecting data and whose hands will it fall in eventually. You know, I think we have an obligation to protect our students and our families as well, and how we're talking about collecting all this data. So that's just my 2 cents, but I'm just really concerned when we start talking about collecting our students' and families' personal information, because we had that to happen twice. 63106, because it's down there near NGA, and I know they want that property. And then we had someone to come the year prior to ask the same thing, to start talking about, what did they call it, where they wanted to know where our students were living, that kind of thing, a mobility study, that kind of thing. It's the same thing. What benefit will it have toward our students? So I'm just interested in protecting the security of our information when it comes to our families. Thank you.
I'm going to agree with Ms. Jones that at some point the data becomes irrelevant, that we're collecting information that we can't share with other people, and we do have to have, there's a fine line in what we collect and how we're going to use it. So if we need to talk about this some other time, we will do that later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tito.
So we're moving into the 2025-2026 district calendar of events.
Yes. All right. So we are very excited. We're going to launch a geography bowl next year in October for all grades. We had a lot of success with both our academic bowl and our spelling bees this year. Schools got really excited by it. Students were really excited. And so we're going to work on a geography bowl as well next year. We're bringing back the district-wide spelling bowl. Spelling bee, you'll notice our school level spelling bees will be between November 3rd and December 12th. And then our district level will be on January 15th because there's a regional fair in March. Our STEAM fairs, we had them this year in December. Next year, we're going to be moving them into January because that will support students to be able to work with their families during the winter break and get things even ready for when they move on to the next level of the regional fairs in March. We have debate teams in our high schools. That season starts in October, goes through March. We have our state tournament in April, our nationals tournament in June. Other things, we have our academic bowl will be, this year it was in high school, and it was, the final one was hosted at McKinley. It was really exciting. Next year, academic bowl is going to expand for grades 6 through 12. There was a lot of interest in our middle schools for that. I know I heard someone say, what about middle school earlier? So we're doing even more with middle schools next year. And so the academic bowls will have their school level ones in February, and the district level one will be in March. And we've already identified the dates for our literacy for the LU events for next year. Our kickoff event will be September 27th. Our 314 Pi Day screening with the superintendent will be on March 13th, and our sneaker ball will be on May 2nd. You'll notice each of those events will also have reading challenges attached to them at the start so that we can continue to celebrate the reading. Again, I keep going back to the joyful and engaged students. If we can get kids to love reading and be excited about it, they're just going to open doors forever. I know I still love to read. And our graduation dates next year will be between May 15th and 19th. Schools will again get to choose dates that work best for them during that time. So this was just a sneak peek of what some district calendar of activities are for next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dino.
Sounds really exciting. Thanks.
And at this time, we will have Mr. Watson, our Chief of Operations. He will be sharing an update on our progress with transportation for the upcoming 25-26 school year. I want you to pay attention to everything that he shares, especially our yellow paper and the box of information he's going to present. Mr. Watson, it's...
Good evening to our board president, Dr. Collins Adams, Vice President Hubbard, to the board, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Borsade, community, and our listening audience. I'm Square Watson, Chief Operations Officer. I'm going to provide an update around our transportation. This is our strategic goals, our goal areas, and of course, transportation is the kickstart for all of the goals to be successful. If we can't get our scholars to school, then none of this applies in terms of reading, math, college and career readiness, and providing a culture and climate that not only ensures student success, but also ensuring that students are safe in our facilities. Transportation and operations as a whole represents that through line. In particular, I want to lift the authentic family and community partnership as our new vendor, Zoom, for transportation is in terms of being authentic. They have their goal and vision, particularly with the president, the CEO of the company of Zoom, her story, her testimony, just in regards to her why, her reason for getting into transportation, supports authentic family and partnerships. And as we continue to grow our partnership with Zoom, and I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of our partners, our transportation partners, for this academic school year, for getting us out of crisis and to where we become champions. So, but just developing and ensuring that we have these authentic partnerships is the key to our success. And of course, our portrait of a graduate, just listening this evening where we've heard several of our college or our graduates, and really just being in terms of competence and being critical thinkers. All of those were displayed this evening. And again, our goal through operations is not only to ensure that we get our students prepared for not only just being a graduate, but also getting ourselves ready for the world that they will post-graduation. So tonight we'll speak on just updates around where we are with our Zoom, our transportation. We'll talk about some of the timelines, touch a little bit on our back-to-school brigade collaboration, as there's been a true team effort, and then we'll talk next steps. So the document that you see, or the slide that you see, speaks to our timelines and our launch plans. So I know some of the writing is a little bit small, but just to touch on some of the items that we have. So for the first item, the email letters mailed out to parents, that's continuous. And the big cry from our team, from transportation as a whole, particularly as we transition to our new student information system, is ensuring that our families not only get us up-to-date information, but making sure that we get this information, and because this will be the outlet that we will reach out to our families. And to make this more realistic, so when we initially started out with our first round of letters that we sent out 7,764 letters. Out of those 7,000, we received this many back in terms of undeliverables. So this represents 684, which is a little bit under 10%. The reason why I show this in terms of the importance of keeping up-to-date information is because with the Zoom and some of the technology, and I'll touch on some of that when we talk about the cabinet dry run, Zoom is a technology-based company. And in order for us to be able to not only communicate, information has to be updated, not only from our parents, but our stakeholders as a whole, because this will be the way of how we communicate to our families. So the encouragement, the goal, the cry, the push is to make sure that all of our families get their information updated, again, with the new Focus platform that'll be rolling out, and even now in our current Tyler information system, because that information is critical. Critical for us to do routing, critical for us to make sure that as we get ourselves ready for the next phase of our emails, go back to the screen. So we will, on May 15th, which is Thursday, all families will receive this yellow letter, this bus letter, and it is translated. So we have both the letters, and that's a shout out to our student support team, academic team, our director of ESOL, that we were able to get all of our letters printed out. They'll be delivered to schools this week, and they'll be in our scholars' backpacks come Thursday. So we're really excited in making sure that we meet these timelines, because again, this is different, and we want to show that this is different. But in order for us to ensure that this is different, we have to make sure that we do our business. And our business is making sure that we update our information, we contact the schools. So I know there's going to be questions around, well, what does this look like? So we had two opportunities. On March 31st, we had the opportunity to see what we call a dry run. And in essence, that provides us with an opportunity as cabinet, that we got the opportunity to see what routes look like, for us to test those routes. In previous, we were using, meaning that when bus drivers get their routes, they were on a sheet of paper. And for those that, when we had Google Maps, or MapQuest, I'm sorry, and you had to print out your directions, or you had to look at a map and try to figure out, navigate through certain streets and one-ways, it becomes challenging. Now, we did get the opportunity on April the 28th at approximately 5:30 a.m. to meet as a cabinet here at 801 to start the second round using the Zoom platform and technology. And with that opportunity, what we saw was the big, huge, vast difference of paper and technology. So to paint a picture, when we did this on March 31st, we started at 7 o'clock at the depot. And we were able to, just to kind of educate, so we have a 3-tier system because there's 3 different bell times. So with the 3-tier system, what we typically would call the first run, which is the first tier of transportation, which more or less means from the time the bus leaves the depot to those first tier schools, which are oftentimes are high schools, it starts at 7 o'clock. So oftentimes the buses would need to leave the depot around 6. So with this test, when we initially did our cabinet run on March 31st, we started at 7. By the time we finished our first run, it was probably 9:30. Because we had to, again, you had one person driving, another person calling out directions. And for those that are familiar with St. Louis, there are what used to be a two-way became a one-way. Some streets didn't have signage, stoplights, to name a few. When we revisited this on April the 28th, we were able to complete 2 tiers. And we started at 6 a.m. when we left the depot. We got to our first school on time. Well, I think we may have been 2-3 minutes behind schedule. But then once we picked up, we were able to again run the second tier. So by that same time, 9 a.m., we were able to complete, by 8:30 a.m., we were able to complete those 2 tiers. The third tier, again, would just be a continuation. But what really stood out was, again, the technology. It has and for future board meetings, I will make sure that you all have visibility of what the technology, the tablet, and just to kind of give you an idea. Most important are the mobile apps. The mobile apps is, again, the way that we will be communicating to families, making sure that similar to an Uber, that you will know when your bus will arrive. It gives you notifications from the time that the bus is on the way to the stop, and from the time the student is picked up, the parent will get notification. In addition to that, for those families that do not have maybe a smartphone, all schools will be equipped with knowing where the buses are. So a part of our training as we roll those items out will be to empower schools, and even within central office, you will see a lot of screens. And on those screens, you will see where the bus is located. And they are generally indicated with a green, yellow, or red. Green means that they're on time, everything is good. Yellow means that there may be a few delays. Red means there may be some delays in terms of their first stop. But again, that information will also be provided as we're working out our communication plan. This is in collaboration with our Executive Director of Communication, Mr. Poole, and his team, the communications team, to make sure that we get that plan out to not only the families, to our stakeholders and to the board. So the timeline that you see, again, touches on a lot of those great initiatives and key points that we need to track and monitor. Our next big event in terms of a hiring fair will be on May the 28th and 29th. It'll be hosted here at 801. We have a real good push. We're looking at approximately almost 200 drivers that have already been certified. We also have a training class and course that is currently underway that'll be taking place. It started last week, and it'll be for 2 weeks. And we're steady getting new drivers aboard. So again, that's just an overview of some of the technology of what Zoom will bring into our system. When it comes to a depot, they're currently working out negotiations with another depot. There was one that was initially established. However, that depot was eventually sold, so Zoom is in the process of finding another location. And as we continue through the summer months, our communications campaign, and again, alongside with our communications team, is to make sure that not only parents, stakeholders, our school leaders in schools will all be trained in Zoom and their technology. So we have one of our first training sessions just in terms of exposure, what happened during our operations week on the first week of June. And then we'll have a more detailed dive into the technology, into the app, into what schools will be able to, and how schools will be able to utilize not only the app, but the technology in July. So our next steps, I mentioned around the cabinet dry run that was conducted on the 28th. Routes have already been finalized, as we saw, and they will begin being sent out to families on the May the 15th. Our Back to School Brigade, which is another opportunity for us in terms of collaboration, breaking down silos within the district. We have a lot of our stakeholders within this meeting, from transportation, communications, recruitment, our students in transition, English language learners, special education, just to name a few. But we meet on a weekly basis, not only monitoring and making sure that we on task, on time to meet our timelines, but also getting ourselves ready and geared up for a successful and start August 18th. A lot of good conversations. Part of our communications plan is outlined within our Back to School Brigade, and we also want to take this opportunity to not only get ourselves and get our schools ready, but also when it comes to our communications to our parents and families, and making sure that they know how we're going to not only get them this information through the mobile app, but there'll be several opportunities even during the summer leading up to the Back to School Brigade, August the 5th. One of the main areas is to, in this process, there's oftentimes during the start of school, we have these open houses. So during these open houses would be the opportunity for families to not only get a chance to see some of the Prop-S projects that are underway and any projects that we're doing in our schools, but also get the opportunity, and we're going to be real intentional about making sure that families download the apps. And we'll have several opportunities for families to see the app, see how it works. We'll download it for them. And we will also, during our reimagining sessions, those are the June 5th, June 7th, June 11th, the 18th, the 21st, and the 25th, also open it up for families to get the opportunity to download the apps. And they will probably get some form of display so that they can get an idea of what the app will look like as we get ourselves, again, for a successful start of the 25 school year. And I do, just to piggyback on what Chief Mitchell mentioned earlier around the number of families, that 72% of our families that have signed up for next year with their intent to return. That speaks volumes because, again, some of the naysayers said that, well, our families will not be, they won't do it. They're used to pushing paper with the technology. I think this push in the direction to get our families not only online, will help us as we communicate in the future, so that what we see this visual, will be obsolete. Because our communications, as we go more paperless, we'll be communicating through emails. We'll be communicating through the mobile apps. When we talk about some of the features that Zoom offers when it comes to not only just the technology of showing where the bus is and when it's arriving, but also when you get the opportunity to see the technology of seeing their student's face as they onboard to the bus, and the bus driver will know their student by name, not necessarily by academic strength, but they will at least know them by name. And that says a lot because that's the first person that their student comes into contact with on their way to school. So they will have the bus driver will know the student by name. The students get to ride in a new vehicle, a new bus with air conditioning. So as they get themselves ready for the start of school, they'll be welcomed by food and, of course, by our staff within the schools. So that, in essence, just kind of outlines not only our next steps, and again, some of our transition plan, and this information was provided in the previous slide, just in terms of our recruiting and staffing and those other opportunities for us to engage families and ensure that we have a successful start of a 25-26 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Thank you.
Mr. Conover?
Thank you, Mr. Watson. I'm going to ask my usual question here, sorry. Where are we at on bus drivers, and can you remind us all what the target is in terms of hires?
So the goal for bus drivers is 243. I'll get the exact number, but just to kind of give a ballpark, we're around 200 drivers right now.
I love to hear it. It goes up every time. Thank you so much. Just a couple of comments. Please bring props more. I really enjoyed those. Thank you. And also just, again, another funny comment. I hope it's funny. Thanks for ruling out some of my family members who might still be using paper directions from being bus drivers. They don't need to be doing that anyway. So thank you, Chief.
Ms. Jones?
I'd like to know, will we have bus monitors, I guess, for the children that are needing a bus monitor? And then will we have cameras on the front and the back? So if something happens on the bus that we can record it.
So in terms of bus monitors, if it is written into a plan, they will have a bus monitor. And then the other question was?
Cameras for the front and the back of the bus.
Cameras are part of the fleet.
Ms. Hubbard?
Pointing inside or pointing outside?
The cameras are on the bus pointing inside.
Okay.
Ms. Hubbard?
I do also want to say at some point, once the buses, we will have an opportunity to ride so you all can see and experience the Zoom.
I have two questions. And one, I don't expect you to know the answer to, but I would like the answer. Do you know how much memory the app takes up on a person's phone? And can you repeat the wages, salary information that how much Zoom is paying bus drivers?
We can get in terms of the memory of the app, we can get that information to you. And then the other question was around how much are the drivers making? We can get, yeah, it is good, but we can get that information to you.
Ms. Foster?
A few things. One, I just want to thank you for all of your hard work, Chief Watson and the rest of the team. One question is, what if I'm not technologically advanced? I don't have a smartphone. How do I get communications about my students' route and track where they are going, like the rest of the parents?
We anticipated that question. Go ahead, Mr. Watson.
So one of the ways outside, if you don't have a smartphone, you will be able to contact anyone within the district. And the first go-to is where we will ask families to contact the schools. Once you contact the schools, the secretary, family support specialists, school leaders, principals, assistant principals, everyone will have access to the app. So anyone will be able to let that parent or whomever know where the bus is at that point in time.
Awesome. So for the record, if you don't know, you can contact your school and they will be in contact with the district. And then a second thing, just a note for us all, that this transportation service does use AI and use AI-driven technology. And so I think when we have a conversation about data security, student data privacy, it's important that when we are renewing this contract, because I wasn't here when it was approved, but when we are renewing this contract, if we decide to, that we ask them explicitly how they are using our student data, for how long they are archiving that student data, and if they are certified, right, as a responsibly designed tool. Because a lot of our tools are using AI and we just don't know because products aren't telling us as school districts. So I just want to make that a note. They are number 3 in sustainability though. So like, not digging them, but just a note.
Ms. Marcia, did you have a question, and then Mr. Conover?
I do. With Zoom, who will be responsible for updating students' addresses in the transportation system if they move? So I've heard of cases now where a student moves and either their driver or their parent calls, and it takes weeks or maybe months to get the address updated. In the meantime, the student doesn't have a ride to school. So I just want to know, with the new system, who's responsible for updating those addresses?
So, and because we're going to our new student information system, that information will be done at the school level with school-based staff. I know in the process of training for this new system, secretaries, family support specialists, they will be able to make those changes within the system.
And so all of our staff, our support staff, our secretaries have been trained, and we are going to continue working with them to have them update information in the system. That is also why we are asking parents, as you can see from our display here, we're asking parents to attend any training that we have so that they understand how to use our Focus system. And as soon as it updates in Focus, the system updates Zoom. Yes, it's all in alignment.
Mr. Conover, okay, go ahead.
Mr. Watson, I just wanted to ask about one more thing. I thought Ms. Jones was going to ask about it because I know it's her favorite question. But where are we at with the electric buses? Not to call you out, Ms. Jones. I like the question. So. Yeah.
So we're currently working out some final negotiations with the electric buses. We've identified the depot, been working with our legal to make sure that we finalize the contract, and we're also bringing Zoom a part of this, to bring them along this process to make sure that we fine-tune the contract and making sure that, because Zoom will be providing the drivers, so we want to make sure in the spirit of collaboration, partnership, authentic partnerships, that everybody is involved as we finalize these contracts.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then I just wanted to note that I know some of Ms. Foster, Board Member Foster's questions, not the AI ones, I don't think specifically, but the other ones were answered at a previous meeting, so I hope we can get some of those minutes for you so we can get that information across the whole board. Yeah, we should definitely do that, so. Yeah.
Thank you, and you've done a great job. That box I'm very familiar with, returned mail in schools, and I'm probably the only person on this board here that understands that after you've gotten it all straightened out and everyone has the app and the letters have all gone out, someone will still move the day before school starts, and that bus is going to show up on that block. And then mom's going to blame us for not, if you want me to be the spokesperson for the community, I will do that, okay? But you've done an excellent presentation of what you've prepared to get our students to school.
Thank you to the team. Phenomenal, phenomenal work. Unwavering commitment to St. Louis Public Schools. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Barishade. Public comments. Mr. Morrison, will you read the public comments notes 1 through 7 located at the bottom of the agenda?
All right. The rules are as follows. There's 7 of them here. So Number 1, citizens interested in commenting will sign in on the iPad between 6 and 6:30 before the board meeting. Do not hand documents directly to board members. Give them to the secretary at the far left of the dais. Dais is the legal term, I think. Number 2, commenters may take an available seat in the room, up to 20. 3, public comments will occur at the end of each board meeting, except in this case, we've amended the agenda to, and of course, we've been here for a while already, so thank you for sticking with us, and that's why we wanted to move you up higher on the agenda. Let's see. Information can be submitted to the board in writing. Number 4, each commenter will have up to three minutes to address the board, so stick to the time limit. Each commenter must remain respectful and refrain from speaking derogatorily about anyone. Do not use names. Number 6, all comments will be allotted 30 minutes. If you're not called to speak, you may submit your information in writing or return to the next scheduled meeting with a priority number. And number 7, only one individual or group should speak to the same point on one topic.
Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, and thank you to our President Collins Adams, Vice President Hubbard, our working board, and our Superintendent, Dr. Boris Sade. The comments will go as follows. Bill Monroe.
Good evening. I'm Bill Monroe, and I'm glad to see this board. You guys look real good, and thank you. I'm not at all too sure. I went to a meeting last night, and I met with the chief of police, and I asked him to come to this board meeting. This is the second time I've asked him. We got chaos in our community. We got crime. We got murder. We got mayhem. Right before you is the solution. Education, skills, and job training. So I asked this chief, I said, come on to the board meeting, chief, because that's the real solution for crime and what's going on in our community. With crime and the emphasis on young black boys, young black girls getting killed, robbed, stealing, in our community. We got the key. The key is education, jobs, and skill training. And I'm glad someone had the thought to mention homelessness. And for more than a decade, if you're not familiar with Bill Monroe, you'll see me standing up at this place asking the St. Louis Public Schools, let's get into a contractual agreement with some of these vacant school buildings in our community. In my community, in the black community, there are vacant school buildings, and they got vermin in them. They got two-legged vermin, and they got four-legged vermin, and we can do something about this. We have the power here to grant Harriet Tubman, and this board has more than 3 or 4 letters, proposals, and I asked for a meeting. I've been denied. Most black men have been denied meetings in this place. Most black men. And I'm asking for a meeting where we decide what to do with some of these vacant buildings. And I've asked for 2 vacant buildings. And we take these vacant buildings and we gut them out and we design a male dormitory and a female dormitory for our children. Homelessness is a huge problem in this community, and we act like they don't exist. We can take these vacant buildings and we can assign them to Harriet Tubman, the non-for-profit, of which I am, the non-for-profit, and we can do something for our children. And I guarantee you that we can have at least a 30% drop in crime if we have places for our children. So I'm asking for this board. I've been denied on more than one occasion, and on the 23rd, somebody let me know when my 3 minutes is up. Now, I know somebody's going to do it. On the 23rd, on the 23rd, you know, I was banned from this place for speaking for 6 months or 3 months. Here you get it. My 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
Irma Nevels.
So good evening. I am impressed with the 4 years that the elected board has been in effect, and we have arrived at something I've been fighting since 2005. And I represent Missouri retired teachers, Region 14. There's about 9 districts that I'm with. Tomorrow I will be with retired teachers at Local 420 with Byron, and I will be on the 19th, I'll be at Education Plus with retired teachers. Now I can talk up. So I know legislation, what's going on, and I know that Doug Clemens, representative, wrote number 404, and he also did 406, and I know that the board, this elected board, has given us back our dignity. Now I can go and ask them to come back, because you have about 4,000 employees out there, and we were not coming because we were insulted, but now we can come. So I haven't heard, but I looked at my agenda, and I was just so happy, and I saw that the agenda is really good. It's right, the technology is good, and I always says at the bottom, retired. And so now you see, and you own us, and that's all I have to say, and thank you. Okay?
Marissa Moore.
We can relax because the news left. Okay, so good evening. My name is Marissa Moore, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the stakeholders at NCNAA and NCNAA at Roosevelt. And I tell you, we are tired, and we are intimidated, and we are weary. But still, I come before you to follow up on the ESOL recommendations that were presented and approved at the March 11th board meeting. And now I recognize that the board has changed since then, and I want to acknowledge how encouraged I've been by the way many of you are showing up with integrity and care for our district. I still must ask, though, what does it take to have our voices heard and truly considered? We have followed every protocol. We have honored the chain of command. We have raised concerns with our leaders. Our leaders raised concerns with their leaders. These concerns were met with intimidation tactics, minimization, denial, gaslighting. We have provided data. We have pleaded this case from emotional, practical, and theoretical standpoints. Community organizations have stepped forward to share their concerns. Newcomer families have shown up to community forums just to try to understand what is happening to them. We have brought up these concerns during board meetings. We have emailed you. We have shown up. And each time we've been met with retaliation from our leaders. We've had disciplinary meetings, investigations, and thinly veiled suggestions that we are unfit for our roles. Just today, in the hallway outside of this room, I was encouraged to consider my future at St. Louis Public Schools before speaking tonight. I was encouraged to lead from the shadows today, but I'm here. And the only thing I think that we have not done, and we will not do this, is to ask our students to step up here before you and advocate for themselves in this fight. We refuse to exploit the very people that we are trying to protect. They deserve to attend the school their families chose for them, just like any other student in this district. And so, if our concerns must continue to go unaddressed, I beg of you, the board, please help us facilitate restoration. We can move on, but at this point, more than anything, we need to heal. We cannot move forward if this cycle of silence and retribution continues. Trust has been broken between our district and the families we serve, and trust has been broken between our newcomer schools and the families who rely on us. Trust has been broken between our district and the community agencies working alongside of us. Trust has been broken between district officials and the educators on the ground. So I stand before you right now at personal risk, not just to speak, but to plead with urgency and humility. Please help us heal what's been broken. This healing cannot happen without truth. Restoration cannot happen without accountability, and progress is impossible if we refuse to confront the system's decision.
Dawn McLean.
Greetings all. Greetings. Is this okay? My name is Dawn McLean, and I live in the Bevo Mill neighborhood. My next door neighbor is, the husband is Bosnian, the wife is Mexican, they've got 3 kids, all multilingual. I also have former students that live down the street from me that have started families. I live right in the middle of one of the most eclectic neighborhoods as far as immigrants and refugees are concerned. And so I take it very personally as a teacher at Naid Chapman High School that when we as their teachers are told that we have a voice but are not listened to. And I did send an email last Thursday for my official address, Donna McLean at SLPS. And I laid out some of the major concerns because that was the hill that we said we would die on. When we were quoted in our FAQ for our teachers about the transition, it was cited to us 5 times from a newcomer toolkit from the Department of Education. But then the one part about teaching fundamentals courses to SLIFE students. SLIFE means students with little limited or little formal education. It says that they're supposed to receive remedial, or not remedial, but fundamental classes to help catch them up so that they can actually handle algebra, physics, these other classes. And that was the one hill that we would have died on, and we have died on it. We don't have it. We asked for it. We begged for it. We pleaded for it. And it's just really disappointing. So on behalf of my students and my fellow teachers and my administrators, I just wanted to make you aware how heartbroken and gut-wrenching it is to come across so much resistance just to protect our kids, the ones that need it, not the ones that don't.
Gordon Bovens.
Hello, my name is Gordon Bowers. I'm the librarian at Vashon High School, and I came to talk just about artificial intelligence. We got a lot of things going on in the news cycle that's grabbing our attention, but this is definitely one I think that we could kind of fall asleep on and lose sight of. That's very, very important. And we had the 2 biggest educational events in modern history happen in 2020, the coronavirus pandemic And then November 2022, ChatGPT, the mass availability of artificial intelligence. It takes place on GPUs like this. This is from 2002. Has about 110 million transistors in it. The latest and greatest ones have about 208 billion. So it's about a factor of 2,000 times greater. We are undergoing Moore's Law of computational doubling. That combined with different scaling techniques, large language models, reinforcement learning, machine learning, it's saturating all our benchmarks, basically known to mankind. A great book to read, I wouldn't be a librarian if I didn't do a book recommendation, is Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near. He's been tracking this since 1999. His predictions have been pretty spot on. It's what I'm referring to, it's what I'm reading to, as sort of like a guide to this unknowable, ever-changing, and the keyword change, future. So I would just want to encourage members of the board, everyone involved, to direct time, energy, and attention towards AI, because it's probably going to be bigger than any of us know. So you really can't misspend your time, energy, effort on that. So thank you for your time.
Adam Lane.
All right, good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone who's in attendance tonight and who stayed. I want to thank you all as board members and also our superintendent. And congratulations to our newest board members, Ms. Foster, Mr. Marston, and Dr. Collins Adams. So I already said good evening. I did want to introduce myself, so I'm Adam Lane. I have the pleasure of serving as the treasurer for the city of St. Louis, a post that I've held since 2021, and had the pleasure of being reelected to the post in November of last year. So I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. I came to St. Louis in 2011 through the Teach for America program. I taught in SLPS at Clyde C. Miller Career Academy on North Grand. I also served on this very board from 2019 to 2021. And though I only have 3 minutes, I do want to take a minute to recognize, I know he's already been recognized, but my brother, LaRon Haymore, Dr. LaRon Haymore, excuse me, for being named SLPS Principal of the Year. So LaRon Haymore and I started teaching in the same year at the same time, and that's when we got to know each other. And in the spirit of what has already been said by NCNAA, I want to say it is important to recognize what you all have here. So I know for Dr. Haymore, we can't have a dinner, brunch, lunch, drinks without him talking about how he improves the quality of education for his young people. And he has one beautiful daughter, but every single student that he has in his building is like his own. So I did want to take some time to recognize him. So I'll speed through my comments. I'm here on behalf of our College Kids Savings Program. For those who don't know, College Kids is a program that opens a bank account for every student in the city of St. Louis, free of charge. We put the first $50 in that account, and they earn more money by attending our financial literacy programming. It's free to the district. It's free to the districts. It's free to the district. And for the last 10 years, we've had a thriving partnership with the district, which was severed 2 years ago. Collectively, students have saved over $2 million in this program for their post-secondary pursuits. The chasm over the last 2 years has not efficiently allowed students to open these accounts or allow parents and teachers to be more aware of the program offerings. For the last 2 years, students have missed out on the opportunity to save more than $125,000 to be better prepared for their post-secondary pursuits. And for 2 years, SLPS has missed out on financial literacy education in a district that has no formal financial literacy education in the full K-12 space. So we have some of our families who are very aware of the program and participate, but the goal is not some, the goal is all. We want to make sure that every single student in the district has the opportunity to save for their post-secondary pursuits, and that families have all the resources necessary to realize the success as well. So I will be sending a follow-up email to all the board members, but my ask today and being here in person is to encourage reconsideration.
Craig Burton. He has since departed. Velma Bailey.
Good evening. Protocol already having been established, I'd like to go on and say that, you know, it's time for people in this community who are educators to be bold and very courageous. The district has a bullying survey that was done where the teachers and staff members in this district feel like they're being bullied by the downtown staff. It's been documented. A person speaking up for their children or their students shouldn't be intimidated and threatened, and that should be taken seriously. Somebody should do something about that. To walk into this building and somebody tell you to watch out for your career, everybody ought to be appalled at that. The lady just said that. Some of you all were at the Teacher of the Year presentation, and you heard the Teacher of the Year talk about how she was bullied in this district. You heard that. People need to do something about that. That's dangerous. That's a federal law. But anyway, bold and very courageous. I'd like for the district to look at being bold and very courageous in its approach to educational services for children. We've talked about the possibility, or I've shared with you the possibility of maybe principals shouldn't be in a lifetime position in this district. Maybe schools should have leadership teams, and there should be some rotation, and there should be some kind of reward for people who've done a good job. Maybe they can get an extension and they can be in some of the higher levels of administration in this district, but there should be some record and some pathway to being able to be an administrator in this district. I'd also like to recommend that the district look at having a tiered system of superintendency. Maybe we should have a superintendent that's over the academic portion of the school district, and maybe we should have a superintendent that works with the non-school hours programming. I'm sure it's very exhausting to be in a position where you're up all day, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then to 10 o'clock at night. I think we kind of left the Teacher Educator of the Year program. It was late at night after all of us got our cars. But maybe we should look at some different ways of governing and getting people included. And remember, a new broom sweeps clean, but an old one gets in the cracks. I can tell you at 9/11 Locust, a board member made a motion to remove foreign language as a requirement, and the board voted on it, and that's why we don't have foreign language as a requirement. We were over at 9/11 Locust at a board meeting. But anyway, I would like to see also the district have some retired teachers in some kind of consulting roles where the superintendent has some principals and teachers who have some experience about what's going on in the district. You don't have to keep recreating the wheel. And I'm looking for summer camp support.
Daniel Romano.
Hi, I'm Daniel Digger Romano. I'm with the St. Louis No Spray Coalition. We're a grassroots coalition that works to make citizens aware of the dangers of pesticides and other toxins. So you'll be voting tonight to amend a contract with Ideal Landscaping Management, who does landscaping at the schools, to ban pesticides and herbicides, herbicides being a subclass of pesticides. I just want you to know that there is a scientific consensus internationally that herbicides and pesticides are dangerous to human health in many ways, and that children are especially vulnerable. I am not a scientist, but I have been studying the scientists, and I can tell you that glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, the most commonly used herbicide in the world, has been banned in Mexico and many European countries. There are many studies that link glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. There is a study was released in December 24 by Arizona State University that basically linked glyphosate to neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. A 2023 study out of Brazil linked glyphosate with, these are scientific studies that were been published in scientific journals, I might add, that glyphosate was in that study linked to liver diseases and liver cancer. And the National Academy of Science has said many a times that research indicates that there might be a lifelong consequences resulting from exposure to certain pesticides. There's been a big campaign you may have seen in the internet, on billboards, and in broadcast media trying to tell you that we must protect farmers who need glyphosate, and implying, although because they can't directly say it, that glyphosate is safe. I would have you know that that campaign is funded by Bayer, who now owns Monsanto. It's a multi-billion-dollar campaign to mislead people. As I say, there is, just do your research, you'll see there is a worldwide consensus on the dangers of all pesticides, and glyphosate in particular has been shown to be quite dangerous. I hope that you will vote to approve the
Thank you. That concludes our public comment.
We have our consent agenda items 13.1 through 13.27 up for approval. Any discussion?
Yes.
Sorry, let me.
Ms. Foster, you go first.
Ms. Foster, and
I had a question about line item 12.1, language line, which is our telephonic interpretation services from Language Line Services Incorporated. Did somebody come up here and answer it, or? I just asked a question.
are you requesting that it's voted on separately, that we remove that?
Oh, yes. I have a few.
Are you requesting information, or you want to make a motion to?
I'm requesting information.
Okay, so do that first, and then you can make a motion.
Okay, yes. I'm just requesting information or clarity, I think, for record. Like, what is the difference between this interpretation service and our current Monarch interpretation services that we use, Monarch Immigrant Services, that is also on the consent agenda?
Dr. Dino?
Hi, good evening. So this is telephonic interpretation, so it's on demand. If someone comes to a school and they have a question and they don't speak English and the person behind the counter doesn't speak their language, they can call and get that on demand. Monarch is an interpretation service that we contract with if we're having lots of events and our internal interpreters aren't available, and then we can hire them to come to our events to interpret for families. So they serve two different purposes, but we need them both, and we utilize both of them.
Do you have other ones? You can keep going, that's fine. Yeah.
Mr. Conover?
Sure, yeah. I just wanted to talk a little bit about 1218 here. I just want to say I'm pretty deeply concerned that this herbicides and pesticides contract edition came directly from the Green Party and our last commenter there. And I just want to say that I think that's a concerning way to be conducting business for this district. I don't think that third parties should be coming here and telling us what policy we should be putting on our agenda. We were already not using herbicides and pesticides at these schools. It was made very clear to us by our operations team. And I just don't know why we're doing these sorts of things, but yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Conover. Ms. Jones?
I had a question about 1223, the refurbished helmets. And I recently watched a program that talked about football helmets. And once they're refurbished, they're no longer insurable. So how does the district deal with that situation? If we want to keep the students safe with their helmets, and we're purchasing refurbished, are they insurable? I guess that's the question.
We can certainly get back to you on 1223.
I also have a question about 1223, the reconditioned helmets. When they're reconditioned, do they follow the same standard that the new helmets follow with concussion protection?
We can get back to you with that information.
Thank you. Mr. Conover.
You're okay. I'm going to formally make a motion to move 1218 to a separate item from the consent agenda to be voted on.
A second.
Is there a second?
She said? Yes. Any discussion? 1218 will be removed. What? I mean 13, I'm sorry.
So you're moving 1218 and 1223, right? And then are you
She didn't say.
accept the consent agenda with the removal of those two?
Just for my own clarification, the motion was to move 13.23 for its own separate voting item.
No, 1318.
18, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
1318, we don't have a 1318.
Well, so it's moved to 13 since we moved public comment, so, yeah, it's the snow and removal and grounds maintenance contract, if that's helpful, but it got moved down. I don't know if it's still referred to as 1218 or 1318, but yeah.
So 1318, that was the motion by Mr. Conover, second by Dr. Collins Adams. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Foster? Yes. Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
I need to know if there are any other. Are there any other items to be removed?
Yes. I would like a motion to move the items 12.5, the science resource adoptions.
Can we do them individually, is that right? Or do you want to do them together?
I can't hear what you're saying.
I think we do them individually usually. Yeah, we got to do them individually.
Great.
Yes.
Second.
Yes.
So I believe that's 13.5 now, I'm not sure, but I
Yeah,
think we're all on the
13,
same
I'm
page
sorry,
on. Yeah,
13.5.
great.
Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, I would also like to make a motion to move item 13.8, implementation of structured literacy practices as well.
Seconded.
Ms. Vaughn, any discussion? Okay, Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard? No. Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved. Is that all?
Are there any other items? I do have a question, Ms. Jones. The item that you mentioned, 13.23, would you want that moved and we vote on it separately?
No.
Thank you. Pardon me? Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items 13.1 through 13.4?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think we can probably just approve all of the ones at once without the 3 that we've removed, but if that's not the case, we can go like you're doing it. I'm okay either way. I just wanted to get clarification on that. Yeah.
Then let's do it that, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, like I said, we're learning this process.
I amend my motion to be the entire consent agenda.
Second?
Oh,
I'll
second.
make a motion to approve the entire consent agenda except for the 3 that we removed.
Seconded.
I'll fix it. I do.
Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda item 13.18?
1-8?
18.
So moved.
Pass.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Abstain.
Mr. Hikes?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Abstain.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Okay, that is 4. That motion is approved.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda consent agenda item 13.8?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Yes. Also, let me know if I'm out of term. I will be planning to abstain from this vote. And I wrote a note, I'll be abstaining from this vote, not because I disagree with the curriculum proposed, but because it has been certified by my employer, Digital Promise, which reviews EdTech products for research standards, and voting to implement this district-wide would cause a conflict of interest.
Thank you. Where are we? Ms. Vaughn? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Abstain.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda item 13.5?
So moved.
Second, someone?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Same reason, just for record. I'll be abstaining from this vote, again, not because I disagree with the curriculum, but because it has been certified by my employer, which reviews EdTech products for research standards, and voting to implement this district-wide would be a conflict of interest.
Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Abstain.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Items for discussion. Can I get a motion to approve items 14.1 and 14.2?
I'll move for one at a time, if that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll move to approve, to amend item, is it 14.1 now? 14.1? 14.1, as presented to us here.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Can I get a motion for item for item 14.2?
I move to amend item 14.2 as provided.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Items for information, I need a motion for items 15.1 through 15.4. No, we did 14.
I'll move to approve 15.1.
Second. Second.
Any discussion?
Oh,
we need
I
to-
have a
Yeah, go
question.
ahead. Yeah.
The question is,
Ms.
the
Jones.
credit card statements, could somebody explain that to me?
We would,
I thought
we're
we
going to
said
vote,
there-
we're going to do them one item at a time so that we can,
Okay,
so, right.
all right.
Ms. Vaughn, the vote on 15.1?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Just for clarification, the agenda says that items in this section do not require a vote from board members.
that's, the reason for, this is why this was voted for as a whole, to just go ahead and move forward. But you all wanted to do the motion separately,
Yes.
so it's up to you guys.
No, we do have to vote on them. Yeah, he's made that, yeah.
Ready?
So we will continue with the
Yes.
votes, all righty. Mr. Marston,
Yes.
okay. Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
I'll move to accept 15.3.
Second.
Second? Someone?
Second.
Discussion? Let's see microphone. Two.
No, we're good.
Oh, the second
We're
one
just
is-
getting clear on it.
Is that 15.3?
Yes.
Do we pass over 15.2?
15.2 says information only, so I didn't think we
Okay.
needed to approve anything.
All right,
there.
just making sure we not skipping.
Yeah, some of them say
Right.
approve, some of them say
It's a
information,
Got
so,
it.
yeah.
All right, I'm following.
Yeah. Thank you.
So it's 15.3,
Correct, the Arizona State donation.
in-kind donation from Arizona.
Yeah.
Motion and second.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And the last one, the credit card statement. For information only. Ms. Jones, you had a question?
Yes, I do. Where does this originate from? I see Osage Beach. I see all kind of restaurants. So who is getting this? Where does this originate?
So the explanation form has been shared with the board. And there are explanations along with receipts that explains.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Do we need to approve this, President Collins Adams? Yes. Okay, I move to approve the credit card statement.
Second.
Any discussions?
I'll just sort of piggyback on Ms. Jones' comments, which is, when you see the receipts and it says things like Margaritaville on there, kind of may raises an eyebrow, but then you understand that that's where it's what used to be Tantera, and there was a student trip there, and so that's what that receipt is about. But at first, it kind of maybe raises some concerns.
Thank
No,
you
we
for that.
appreciate that.
That is why we make sure to include the explanation form so that all questions can be resolved in those explanation forms. Thank you.
And all receipts are attached, so, thank you. Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Abstain.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
I'll make a motion.
Are we ready to?
16, I'm looking at 15.
Yeah.
It's very
Got it.
confusing. Can I make a motion to
16.1
approve
and 2.
new board member training?
16.1. Emily?
Sure.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the 16.1.
Any discussion? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
16.2, Audit Committee recommendation. Can I get a motion to approve?
Do we approve or accept?
We did 16.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the audit committee's recommendations to accept our audit.
Second.
And we also need to be able to use Reuben Brown for our audit for the 24-25 school year.
And to continue using Reuben Brown for 25-26 school year? 24-25, I'm sorry.
Just for clarifications, please restate that motion.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Ruben Brown to do the audit for SLPS for the 24-25 school year. We already accepted it? Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, I'm definitely lost. We approved Ruben Brown for the audit for like much earlier in the meeting today. So are we now approving that again and the audit recommendation, or one of those individually? I'm just a little confused, sorry.
It's listed on the agenda.
That's not a clarification, I'm sorry.
I'm reading as it's listed, so that was listed on.
Oh, I see.
My
So you're just trying to make the motion as listed. So, but we've already done one of these things, right?
Yes.
Great, so we don't need to do that
So
part
this
again.
is to actually carry Ruben Brown through the 24-25 school year. We approved what they've done in the past for the audit that we've just received. We're still in an audit process that should be completed by June 1st, or somewhere at the beginning of June.
Yes, yeah, so we're definitely, yes, in an audit cycle right now for the 24-25 school year. I guess maybe I was confused about the motion earlier. So just to get clear on this motion, as Ms. Vaughn also asked, this is to approve the recommended audit and approve Ruben Brown as the auditor for this current school year? Or is it simply one or the other?
The vote earlier was a motion to approve the recommendation to have Ruben Brown complete the audit.
Okay.
So this here is the motion to accept the recommendation to accept. To my knowledge, that's what I'm understanding.
I amend my motion to reflect that.
I think I understand. So just for discussion, to get clear, and then I'm going to have a lot of questions, sorry. We are now being asked if we want to approve the 2023-2024 audit. Is that correct? Good. Ms. Hubbard saying, Dr. Hubbard saying yes. Great, okay. Thank you. If we're open for discussions, I definitely had some, there's a lot of lights on though, so I don't want to monopolize the mic.
Sorry, can you repeat what you just said?
I have some questions for discussion, but.
No, what?
Oh, yeah, sure. I was trying to get clarity that what we are doing with this motion is approving the 2023-2024 audit recommendation.
Got it, yes. Okay.
Yes, and that, yeah. Dr. Hubbard clarified, and you all seem to have agreed. Okay, great. And now are we in discussion because we made the motion, or do we need to redo?
We have made it, and Ms. Hubbard amended it to reflect your concern, and I don't have a second, though.
Great, thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Conover.
Great. Just a few questions. I'm not sure exactly who the right person to answer these are. With the reconstitution of our board committees, did we follow board policy 190 in relation to that, namely getting board approval for the new committee members on those committees before having the audit meeting on May 5th?
As I understood it, and if I need to be corrected, I understand that too. We did. There were 2 board members present. We did not take a vote during that meeting. And the approval for the minutes came after the fact, so at the end of our meeting.
Great. So just to clarify, when you say we didn't take a vote on it, nobody's voted on this audit recommendation? In the audit committee, which is usually how, so normally what would happen is the audit committee would vote to make a recommendation.
We discussed moving it to the board to actually vote on the draft.
And there was no vote on that?
No.
We haven't seen the minutes, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that.
The
yeah.
president of the committee said that the audit committee accepts the
recommendations for?
I want to say the census, the audit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not clear. So
I'm not either,
you're
anyway.
saying the committee chair made because it was, I'm sorry, Emily, I did not fully understand. The committee chair of the audit committee made the recommendation directly to the board for us to approve the audit? Is that what I'm hearing?
The audit, he said the audit committee accepts the audit, which means
Oh, he said, okay.
the
I see.
next step would be the board also accepting it.
And the procedure of the audit committee is for the chair to, I guess, decree that the audit is recommended to the board?
I don't know.
You can understand my confusion, yeah. While we're figuring that out, I mean, I want to be very clear. The work, sorry, Tracy, give me 1 second here. The work that has been done on the audit is exceptional. I'm very happy to see what I have seen through the audit process. I have no issues with that. However, I'm very concerned that we may have violated our own board policies and perhaps revised statutes of the state of Missouri in bringing this motion to the floor. So that's where my concern lies. I've made that clear over the course of the last 3 weeks and have not received any communication on that. So I'm just trying to get clear here.
I can read the minutes from that meeting.
That would be great, yeah.
The St. Louis Public Schools Audit Committee convened at 4:30 p.m. on May 5th, 2025. After the roll call, the Audit Committee Chair, Marion Gee, requested a motion to enter in closed session to discuss communications with representatives from Reuben Brown, SLPS external auditing firm. All Audit Committee members approved the motion. Renita Duncan and Alicia Barnum discussed the FY.
Sorry to interrupt you. We don't want to talk about closed session meeting minutes
Okay,
publicly, yeah.
That was it.
So
It was
that's,
just
I mean,
a
that's the
motion to
whole.
actually move into a meeting.
Great.
To be able to just have a discussion, that's it.
And somehow that ended up with us getting a recommendation without a vote to approve the audit.
We have to bring it to the board.
Oh, yeah, it definitely needs to be brought to the board, but usually that involves a vote or the constituted members. Is that not the case, Dr. Hubbard? I would love to get if you want to, I need clarification here. I'm clearly asking for it. No. Okay, I understand, yeah. They want to handle this, I understand. I mean, look, this is the game we want to play, I think that we're putting the district at serious risk around violating Missouri statutes and our own board policies and making these decisions. I have just freely
Dr.
admitted.
Hubbard wasn't at the meeting, so.
Oh, I understand. That's
Yeah.
why you were. Okay, but I just need to make this abundantly clear. I'm very supportive of the audit efforts. I'm, in fact, very supportive of where the audit ended up. I am probably going to be the first one to highlight that tax payments and tax incentives are again taking $39 million from our children every year. That's a number I pay a lot of attention to from the GASB 77 board. But the way that this has ended up on our agenda at the open board may have violated laws and board policies. That's really concerning for us to be able to approve this today.
I understand that, Mr. Conover. I went
Yeah.
back to look at MSBA regulations. I asked for rules on committees, and I looked at policy and the procedures that the board has followed in the past. One of the things that we have to recognize is that there was no ill intent ever to be able, and we certainly did not intentionally try to circumvent any process. The committee met because we had a deadline to meet to be able to present it to the board in a timely manner to have the audit, and it was a successful audit. We are where we need to be, approved to get it to the board. We were in a session that we did not call for a vote. So if that has violated anything, then we'll have to clarify that, and we'll have to straighten that out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't negate what has happened. And we met, we were able to get it to the board, which was an important step because it came immediately after a new board was sworn in, and the board president was a part of that committee. So.
Yes, listen, I'm not ascribing ill intent here.
Yeah.
I didn't say that at any point.
No,
I hope
I
that
know.
wasn't made.
I want the public to know that, though.
I understand. I appreciate that. Yeah, as I've said, and as President Collins Adams, we've talked about a bit, it's not entirely clear to me that we've correctly constituted our committees at all, so I'm not even sure that they should be meeting without board approval of the new members. Again, I am happy to be corrected here, but nobody has corrected me here.
Is our general counsel in the House? Is our general counsel available to provide? Thank you. Can you come to the podium? Thank you.
If I may, I believe Mr. Conover's hesitation with the committee itself We do have a board policy that says the full board approves the committee. Although the president appoints, the full board has an approval part of the process. I know earlier today, you had like a listing of who was on what committee. I would suggest that the full board have a discussion about the committee hierarchy and have a vote if it's agreeable tonight on that committee structure. I think that's one of Mr. Conover's concerns.
That's certainly one of the concerns, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Secondly, he's concerned about the audit committee's finding itself. I'm not intending to read the full closed minutes of the committee, but according to the chair of the audit committee, he writes in the minutes that he requested and the committee approved a motion, the committee expressed its appreciation of the work, wait a minute. The committee expressed, I'm sorry, I thought I had it.
That's okay.
In open session, the committee approved and accepted the audits and adjourned at 5:20 p.m. So according to Mr. Gee, the chair of the audit committee, it's draft minutes. The committee did approve and accepted the audits and adjourned at 5:20.
Thank you, Attorney McLaughlin. Well, that's a change in the story. So it was approved in open session? That's what he says in his minutes.
There was a discussion in closed session.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then they moved out to open session, and in the open session, they approved the audit.
Does this reflect, I know there were two board members there, Board Member Collins Adams and Board Member Hubbard. Does this reflect your memory of what happened?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, so we were just talking about how this got approved in closed session, and now, based on, I think it's Dr. Gee, is that correct? Mr. Gee's?
Mr. Gee
Mr. Gee, I'm
is
sorry,
the chair of the audit committee.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Gee's minutes, it sounds like it got approved somehow in open session?
Ultimately, there was a closed session where there was a discussion about the audit. There was a presentation from the audit firm, Reuben Brown, and there was a lot of discussion about the statements. Then we went into open session, and as Mr. Gee writes in his minutes, the committee approved a motion to return to open session. The committee approved and accepted the audits and adjourned that evening.
The last thing there is what I'm asking about, yeah. So to clarify for you, Dr. Collins Adams, President Collins Adams, I'm asking if that open session vote happened at the end of the meeting, or this open session recommendation, from your recollection, I mean.
You were there. Was it?
I was in attendance. I was not a voting member, but there was a vote that happened.
Oh, there was a vote.
And
We didn't follow the standard procedures of doing a roll call and counting each individual in there.
That's correct. We did not have a roll call vote. There was
No.
a general vote, consensus.
Yeah, so, okay, great. So
He
now
asked
we've
for
gotten an
consensus.
explanation. Thank you, Attorney McLaughlin, for that. That's very helpful. I guess, like you said with the first part of the question that I have, it's sort of unclear to me if all the committee members that may have approved that, although we don't really know who approved that, were properly constituted, as I've raised before. And so I'm perfectly willing to have that discussion now. I mean, I was told numerous times that I was going to get calls related to that, but that did not happen. So I'm very happy to discuss approving the committees now. But if we needed to do that, right, if we had not approved them in advance of the audit committee meeting, and folks participated in the recommendation, however that happened, we're in some trouble, to put it mildly. Yeah.
Could you explain trouble?
No, I don't really want to
Okay. Well, I think
get more
for
specific about that in open
purposes
session. Yeah.
For general, when we look at what an audience views and a board member says that, we have some trouble.
Yeah, sure.
It would be, and we do have legal counsel here.
Yeah.
If there's something that we need to work on to correct, then I need to know what I'm looking at.
I'm happy to clarify.
Is this something that you believe we need to go back to closed session on?
No, so I believe, for us, right now, that's up to the president. I'm not going to make that determination, yeah.
Question.
Yes, Mr. Hyde.
Is this vote today, would this vote today stop any process? Meaning, if we hold this, it will stop a process?
It'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to go forward, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Ms. McLaughlin, you were at the meeting, right? You would have stopped us if you thought we were violating the law.
I do not believe that we violated the law.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McLaughlin, may I ask you a question? Do you think we violated the board policy? 190 specifically.
If you're referencing, Mr. Conover, the policy about the board members being, the committee members being approved by the board, full board, we did not follow that process, although I do believe there was a quorum not counting these board members. And as a board member, you had the ability to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all got to watch it on YouTube, the whole closed session, which was a different issue, but yeah.
I agree that was an issue.
Yeah.
But as far as having a quorum and having enough of the committee of 3 external members, if you will, those 3 members approved the audit.
How do we establish quorum if we don't know how many members are on the committee, based on not having approved the committee?
We had an existing committee.
Yes, yeah, so those, you're saying that those continue on regardless of our future approvals from the previous board? So like, the previous board put a bunch of people on committees, right? Some of those are standing positions, some of those are board approvals. Do the ones that, I guess, which ones of those members continue on from the previous board to the new board?
It's my understanding, under Robert's Rules of Order, they continue until a replacement is given. And at
Great.
this time, we've not replaced those external people
Yes, great.
on the audit committee. So right now, they were the members of the committee.
Just the 3 of them, is
The
what you're
3
saying?
of them. And the 3 of them approved,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the audit.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of them said they didn't read it, but we don't know how they would have voted, but, okay, I understand, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Have we satisfied the concern, or are we
No,
moving to
but well, you're happy, if you want to make the motion to approve it, you probably have the votes, so.
We'll move forward. And that's with 16.2.
16.2, moving forward, we had our motions. We had our motion by Ms. Hubbard and second by Mr. Marston. We're moving forward with that,
The vote.
correct? Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
No.
Mr. Hikes,
Abstain.
Ms. Jones.
I'm not familiar with it, so no.
No. Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
We do need to recognize or get approval on the committee selections. And we have one walk-on, right? What? Yeah. So if we can, Ms. Hubbard read the list earlier in our meeting. If we can review that and then call for a motion to approve the list of the new committee members.
President Collins Adams, would you like the motion to approve before we discuss it or after? Usually we do it before, so.
I would like it to be approved.
Okay.
Before we make the motion, could we go ahead and pass the new board member training?
We already did
We
that.
did that.
When did we do that?
Before we did 16.
That was the
Okay,
first one.
I'm sorry.
Right,
It's
we
been a very
initially
long
started
day.
as a combined unit, and then we just,
These are them, apparently. It's on an email that we
I
received.
move to accept the new committee assignments as printed on the sheet that we had at the meet and greet earlier today.
Yeah.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Conover?
Yes, since we were told that we were going to get calls about this to say which committees we did not want to be on that we were potentially being appointed to, or which ones we did want to be on, I just wanted to remove my name from the Board Governance Committee.
I gave my list to Vice President Hubbard.
Ms. Hubbard, can you pass that list down, please?
I have a list in here, in that folder.
Yeah, let me see.
I don't have it. Oh.
It's in your folder.
I see it. Mhm. That's fine, he wants to be on. We would need another board member for board governance. Mr. Hikes? Or Ms. Jones? Mr. Marston? We need a member for the board governance.
Are we still in discussion? I
Sounds like we moved to a new motion about needing somebody to replace me or something like that.
Okay.
Leave it blank.
It's still part of the discussion right now.
It's still part of the discussion right now.
That's fine, yeah.
When we make a motion, it'll be to approve the committees.
I understand, thank you.
I'll be added to the board governance committee. I'm studying policy anyway, so we got that.
Any further discussion?
All right. Any further discussion? Ms. Foster, your microphone is on? Okay.
Yeah, I have a small point. I mean, I'll just say again that a lot of the confusion that the public is seeing up here right now is because we were told we were going to get individually contacted to discuss these appointments, and that did not happen. So we're all very confused sort of what's going on now. We have seen this list, but that's where the confusion lies at the moment. So that's my point of discussion.
Yeah, and I'll add after that, I think a note is that, again, we got emailed this committee list, and we were invited to speak with the president on which committees we did or did not want to be a part of. I think we all, as individuals, had ample opportunity and time to say which committees that we did or did not want to be a part of. Removing yourself from the committee when you had ample amount of time, that's why we're sitting in confusion now.
It's a direct response, yeah. I mean, it's directed at me, so.
Mr. Conover, you have the prerogative to be on or off a committee. I understand that.
Yeah.
You do not want to be on this committee. You had previously told Ms. Vaughn you would, so.
No, that's not true.
Oh, she
Sorry, yeah.
Contact.
I had joined the committee originally under the last board.
So I apologize to the audience as we clear all of this. It's a
I'm
learning
sorry,
process.
Dr. Collins. The question I have is the Starwood committee, I don't understand what that one is. That's new. So what is that all about? Yeah.
The Starwood Advisory Group seeks to purchase from the city the remaining parcels of Interco Plaza Park not already owned by Starwood. The goal is to renovate and secure the plaza, which will be open to the public and provide a variety of programs in technology, geospatial, geospace, and including SLPS students and staff and families, as well as a larger downtown community. So it's an advisory group on actually purchasing this property to use it for the community.
So that's real estate. That's the real estate group, right? Because I remember Starwood came here upstairs and did a long presentation, and they wanted a lot from us. They wanted to purchase some of our land. So I remember them quite well now. That's why I was trying to understand. I never heard of the Starwood Committee. Why would they just have a committee just for that? And that's part of the real estate.
Tracy is our representative to that committee, which is consisted of all those organizations. It is not our committee. He is our
So
representative.
Mr. Hikes is on that committee. Mr. Hikes, if you could
It's only one
check
name.
that information to find out. I have no historical information on that.
Yeah, that's the new one for me also, so I would have to get
Yeah,
information
you would have
on
to,
that.
yeah,
Yes, okay, thank you.
thoroughly investigate that. I don't-
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Jones. I was unaware.
So the public's aware, we received the list of committee assignments on Thursday, May 8th.
Clearly, everybody's aware of the communication around that as well. You guys can try to vilify me for this, that's fine. But it's clear that Ms. Jones, Mr. Hikes, and myself are quite confused because we expected calls as we were told we were going to get and did not receive them.
Thank you, Mr. Conover. Are we ready for a vote? Ms. Vaughn?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
We're voting to approve. They were not ready. Pass.
What
So
is
that means
pass?
you come back around to me. Yeah.
Mr. Hikes,
On the question. This is for the committee assignments, correct?
Yeah, just the whole.
The approval of the committee assignments
Oh,
with
yes.
the change showing that Dr.
Mr.
Collins
Conover.
Adams is now on governance.
Okay, yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Back to Mr. Conover.
Abstain.
Okay. Motion approved.
I'm skipping now. I don't see it. Hold on. We'll move to board reports. Board members will share committee reports, announcements, and remarks. We don't have any reports
Oh,
because
sorry,
we've already
we have mics on. Yeah, I think.
announcements.
Yeah.
No, sorry, we do have reports. Yeah.
Do have a report.
Ms. Jones.
And so I would like to say congratulations to Mason Elementary School for the wonderful production that they put on the other night at the Grandel Square Theater of Matilda. They must have had over at least 300 people there, family and friends, and it was really a wonderful thing to see. We don't often get an opportunity to see our students perform in such a way. They had a wonderful stage presence, and the students were just magnificent. And I just want to congratulate Dr. Franklin and her team for doing something really wonderful for the students. That's it.
Sorry, one more, yeah.
Dr. Conover, Mr. Conover.
Oh, Dr. Conover in a couple of years. So just wanted to give a brief report. And I don't know if Board Member Foster's okay with me saying, but Board Member Foster and I were both at Malamphy Elementary, yep, on, was that the 6th? For the Seed St. Louis tour of the garden space that's going on there. An excellent project. It sounds like we're at 19 gardens across the district already, and we're moving up to 22 next semester. Next year. That's very exciting. I hope that program continues to grow. The kids were absolutely enthralled with the gardening work, and it seems very well supported by the school. So I just wanted to shout out Seed St. Louis, shout out the district for partnering on such a great program.
Ms. Hubbard?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have one other announcement. I would like to say something to our audience. Thank you for your patience. The presentations were informative. We do listen, we hear you, we know you use your voice for purpose. We appreciate that. I'd like to thank the other members that are sitting in the audience that just came, that didn't make comments or joined, but you did stay until the very end. And I'm hoping that the things that you hear and see and that you absorb as we move through our board meetings and we learn the process from the new board members and and Mr. Conover is also, relatively new in this whole process. We have a lot to learn. That you look at this with favor and grace and have in your hearts and in your minds the ability to be able to give us information that will improve what we're doing rather than criticize. I really appreciate that. And so I am asking now for a motion to adjourn our meeting unless Superintendent Boris-Shade has an announcement.
I just want to remind everyone to pick up their regalia. Thank you.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
That ends tonight's board meeting. Ms. Vaughn, we want to call it?
Ms. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes, indeed.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 10:08.
Thank you.
I have your regalias upstairs. Oh, no, you can wear it, but I'm saying everybody else, I gave